soldiers were heading out, hear the battle drums. Carrier drops in these war-torn grounds. The sky is filled with a deafening sound. Loadouts checked, our nerves are tight. It's chaos out there, but we're ready to fight. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? In the fray, canopy's gone as the swarm comes to play. Heat overwhelmed, systems start to fail. They're closing in fast, their strength prevails. Too many to count, and far too strong. This might be the end, we may not have long. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? The fire, a light breaks through. We look to each other, we know what to do. Training kicks in, we form our ranks. Together we stand, there's no turning back. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through?
Greetings, Commanders. Glory to mankind, and welcome to this stream, which is meant as a way to help Commanders that are new to Anti Xeno or returning to the game after a while, or have picked up the game that is now available for free with an Amazon Prime subscription from the Epic Store, to get into the defense of Sol and the ongoing current events in the game, which are quite deep and complex as pretty much everything in this game. So getting a bit of a guide is helpful for anyone that is trying to get sort of their head oriented towards what's going on and what they can do to help and get involved. So I thought we'd start just with a little bit of lore to explain how we got to this situation, so that people have a bit of an understanding of what's going on. And then we'll talk about the kind of equipment you'll need to get in a fight, and we'll talk a little bit about how the fight is actually going to play out and it's going to work. In terms of lore, the Titans, as you know, have invaded the bubble almost 2 years ago now, I want to say. 8 of them showed up in their so-called Stargoid form, occupied a bunch of systems, and were progressively fought back over the course of the last year and a half, to a point where 7 out of 8 have been destroyed. The only remaining Titan was Titan Cojillo, which was dwindling in terms of its control systems. And in the process of dwindling, it managed to probe the mind of a particular human, Shinjo Ao. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She's known popularly as Subject D2. And by probing the mind of Subject D2, they managed to acquire a great deal of information about humanity and our home system, of our ancestral home system, at least as far as the events in Eight Dangers are concerned, of Earth. And probably thinking that, like, Earth is where our brood queen or hive mind resides, they decided to take a major gamble and pack up everything that was left of Cojillo and its 40 surrounding control system and force it and jam it into a final last-stage assault directly on the system of Sol. So Cojillo packed up and left, and is now in its Stargoid form on its way to Sol. The estimates of when it's going to arrive vary. The latest I've heard and seen from analysis Canon and others have done suggests that it is going to arrive during maintenance on December 6th, so less than a week from now. Although I've seen other estimates that put it further out in terms of arrival up to 2 weeks from now. So we're not going to know exactly, but if we were to kind of stake guess at this point, it would probably be December 6th, more likely than not. In the meanwhile, Sol as a system is in the state, which I will show you on the galaxy map in a second, which is so-called alert state. This yellow color, if you go under the Fargoid War mode, you can see that Sol is in Fargoid alert. And it's roughly at like somewhere between 15 and 20% progress right now, which is going somewhat slow. And by the way, because Cohio is coming here anyway, even clearing the alert, I doubt will actually accomplish anything, but we'll see. A system in alert state is a system where there's some Fargoid presence, but not an overwhelming combat presence like in an invasion state when stations are burning and there's Anti Xeno Combat zones throughout the system. We'll come back to this in a moment and describe what's going on in Sol and how you can fight today in the system with a group. But back to our sort of cadence and system of events. The last Titan is fast arriving, and what we are to expect is a week, possibly more, but at least a week of light combat activities in Sol before Cohio arrives and parks itself somewhere in Sol, and that's where the assault on Cohio will begin, and the so-called Titan bombing activities proper will begin. Now that state changes and affects also like what kind of equipment you're going to bring, and it's important to kind of mention something that's specific to that because it will affect how you think about the equipment part, as that we'll talk about in a moment. As up until when Cohio arrives, you're able to use Guardian weapons without anti-Guardian zone resistance, and that includes also the very powerful, although expensive to acquire, modified version of Guardian weapons. That's because there really isn't any anti-Guardian zone field active in Sol, so right now you can fight with those weapons and you're going to be fine. When Titan Cohio arrives, though, as has always been the case, it's reasonable to expect that it will put up a system-wide anti-Guardian zone field, which means that all unprotected anti-Guardian zone weapons will effectively melt in a very short amount of time. So you won't be able to use those. Instead, you're going to have a choice between Guardian weapons that have been specially engineered for anti-Guardian zone resistance, and we'll talk about that in a moment, or human weapons like Anti Xeno Multicannon and Anti Xeno Missilex, which, as of the time being, it really means Anti Xeno Multicannons because Anti Xeno Missilex are bugged and will crash your game, or used to crash your game, and now will simply be unequipped from your ship. Although that's something that hopefully they will fix in one of the upcoming days. So, when it comes to the builds that you will want to use, there's a number of options that you have. Frontier Elements has released a Titan Combat starter ship available for purchase in ARCs. Let me see if we can actually see it in the store here. I'll show you. Which, surprisingly, I will say, because that is not necessarily the case. It's not here. Where would I find it? And there, pre-built ships. Surprisingly, because that is not the case for many of their other ships. There you go. The 25,000 ARCs, AX, Titan Combat Jumpstart. This ship is actually pretty decent. The only thing you really need to do if you buy your ship is you need to drop the bi-wave shield generator and replace it with another hull reinforcement package. Reason being, a fast charge bi-wave will heat you up way too much in Titan space and will get you killed. So you want to drop that one. Other than that, the ship is pretty decent as a starter ship, and it's also reasonably capable against interceptors, although without Guardian weapons it will fall behind some of its more specialized counterparts. But it is a fine starter ship. Like, if you are willing to invest a few bucks in sort of getting a head start without having to build your own ship, the Crate Mark II AX Titan Combat Jumpstart is a fine ship to start with. Be wary, however, of some of the other Jumpstart ships, because in particular the Jumpstart AX Combat Chieftain is absolutely terrible. And not only it's available for a 40% discount, but it's not worth it even at a 90% discount if you ask me. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible build. that was cobbled together by, honestly, I think someone who doesn't play the game and has really no idea about how any mechanics that they're actually supposed to be working with work. If you do get it, in order to make it fungible for any of the roles that it would be fungible for, you need to fundamentally blow it up. And I have a separate video which goes into great detail on how you would do that. It's long and complicated, so I'm not going to bother you with the details here. But anyway, something to know is avoid the Chieftain like the plague, the pre-built Chieftain like the plague. If you want a decent ship, get the Great Mark II X Titan Combat Jumpstart. That is pretty decent. It also comes with a Midnight Black paint job, which is my favorite for a Great Mark II, which is nice. And the ship kit, which up to you if it matters or not. So that's a ship you can get. If you want to build your own, that's certainly an option. And we have a separate video, which I can actually link in the chat right now, as it may be helpful, that it talks about how to build the so-called common core of the Crate Mark II, which makes for the most fungible ship in the war. Like the Crate Mark II with a common core is something that you can very, very quickly adapt to use as Anti Xeno Combat Zone Fighter, which is, by the way, the configuration I have it in on the pad right here, and we'll take for a spin in a moment. Or you can adapt it to be a Titan Bomber, or a Titan Fighter, or a Solo Fighter. Like, there's just so many things that the Crate Mark II can do with a common core configuration, and if you have a single Anti Xeno Combat ship, it should be a Crate Mark II. There can be more specialized versions for specific activities, but this is a beginner stream, so I don't think it's worthwhile to go into details with regards to that. If you're building a Crate Mark II for Anti Xeno Combat zones and for fighting in this alert system like we were talking about this week, you will want to use Guardian weapons if you have access to them. I have modified Guardian shard cannons, which are kind of more endgame weapons, so it's unlikely that as a beginner you will have access to these weapons. But if you do have access to Guardian Gauss cannons, using Guardian Gauss cannons in place of these works extremely well and is highly recommended. Again, keep in mind that Guardian Gauss cannons that have not been engineered for anti-Guardian zone resistance will not be something that you'll be able to use when Titan Cohere arrives. Other than that, it's a standard repair build, like with an AFMU, thermal vent beam laser, a caustic sink launcher, which is handy, repair limpet controller with 64 limpets, which is a very large amount of limpets, and 3 module enforcement packages, 5.2 and 1 size, and the rest is our reinforcement packages for integrity. The ship, which still uses lightweight armor to privilege its speed and agility, still comes with a very nice and generous 2.3k health, which should be enough. You can use mill-grade armor on it if you want for a bit more health and buffer. Trading some speed. If a trade-off is worth to you, by all means you should do it. Otherwise, go lightweight, and that works just as well. So this is the build, roughly. There's also rescues going on, and if you look at the missions that are available in Sol right now, there's really 2 categories, mission boards and passenger lounges. The combat missions and part of the passenger missions are found in the general mission board. You'll find missions to eliminate pretty much all intercepted variants and scouts. And these are very generous also in terms of like material rewards and credit rewards, so I think I'm actually full on my missions. I have 20 stacked up here. It's not something I'll be doing between now and tomorrow. In addition to Fargoid combat missions, you'll find transportation missions where you're essentially providing emergency bulk supplies to the station. And if we go down, I think there's evacuation of personnel, which uses cargo space. This does not actually use passenger cabins. So because it's an emergency, people, I guess, are comfortable getting into cargo holds, whereas normally they wouldn't do it if they were like tourists or anything like that. But this is a way to kind of like help with the war efforts in a non-combat build for evacuation using cargo. There's also, in the mission board, in the passenger lounge, a number of group and personal transportation missions, which again focus on evacuation. So this is another great way of getting involved and allowing you to help with the major evacuation of Sol that is ongoing, given the arrival of a Titan. So that's a mission. With regards to the evacuation, there's also a pre-built ship, which remains a bit of a mystery to me right now because talking about, again, people who build a ship but don't play the game, or at least don't pay attention. There should be the Python Mark II rescue jumpstart. There it is. Now, this ship is a true mystery to me because it has 5 Anti Xeno weapons installed, but it does not mount a weapon, an experimental weapon stabilizer, which means this build is an invalid build as far as the builds of Elite are concerned. You're not able to mount 5 weapons without an experimental weapon stabilizer. And if you take one off, you will not be able to put it back on because you don't have one. So this ship should not have passed quality assurance in terms of being designed. Also, the fact that you have multi-cannon weapons on a rescue ship is debatable, like whether you want it or not. But other than that, this ship is fine. And like if you want to do rescues, it has the necessary things to be able to let you do those rescues. So it's a fine ship, despite the fact that it's built like in an invalid manner, which is kind of a bit funny actually, if you ask me, in a sort of sad way. So that's on the rescue side. So we talked about missions, we talked a little bit about builds, we talked about the history and like how we've gotten to this point. We talked about the fact that we'll need to swap out weapons. Oh, yeah, one thing that we'll also need to change, and I'll show you an outfitting in a second because like, it's easier to show you there. When the Titan arrives, is we'll need to change our utilities a little bit, somewhat, because right now, as you will see, I'm fighting with 1 heatsink, 1 caustic sink launcher, sorry, 2 heatsinks, 1 caustic sink launcher, and a shutdown field neutralizer. We'll need to replace this shutdown field neutralizer with a Thargoid pulse neutralizer when the Titan arrives. I'm using a shutdown field neutralizer until then because it has advantages over a Thargoid pulse neutralizer. This one applies, it has a 3 kilometer range, so this one applies to others around you as well. So if you're in a wing, you can actually provide coverage against shutdown pulses to each other, which is not something you can do with a Thargoid pulse neutralizer. It also has a lower power draw compared to a TPN, which means you can hold it for longer, and it provides coverage for a greater, more extended period of time. So if you're not having to go to a Titan, the shutdown field neutralizer is a superior option when you're fighting in combat zones or when you're fighting at points of interest or signal sources like we will be doing in this alert system. Caustic sink launcher is an exceptionally useful utility that almost all ships should have in this day and age of Anti Xeno Combat. And then I have 2 heatsink launchers, which are pre-engineered, but even the regular ones are fine. And if you're using a ship with multi-cannons, with gimbal multi-cannons, you will want to drop one of these in favor of an enhanced Xeno scanner, because you need to get scans to be able to have your weapons sub-target hearts. Otherwise, you will not be able to sub-target hearts. But if you're not using gimbal weapons and you're using fixed weapons like I am right now with shards, then you don't really need a scanner. A scanner becomes optional and more like as a quality thing to kind of let you see what's going on. Abhishek is saying that AX multi-cannons don't require the stabilizer. You think? Unfortunately, they do. They absolutely do require the stabilizer, which is proven by the way that the fact that if you take that one of those alpha of the Python, you cannot put it back on because it doesn't have a stabilizer. So again, that build is completely invalid. And then JL is saying that he's thinking of using a Diamond Scout with 1 medium TV beam and Guardian Gauss cannons in the rest. Diamond Scout is a pretty fragile ship. It's fun. We actually have a video that talks about fun, small Anti Xeno ships, and the Diamond Scout is high on the list of ships that are a lot of fun to fly. Keep in mind, though, if you're fighting here and if you're fighting in Titan space, you're going to go against some pretty tough opposition, like some of the hardest content, some of the toughest NPCs in the game. And the Diamond Scout is going to be very fragile in that setting. So I personally wouldn't recommend a Diamond Scout for that purpose. But if that's what you want to do, you should try it. And there's definitely no hard reason not to do it. I went Titan bombing in an Adder. I brought an Eagle into Titan space. So if I can do that, you can certainly bring a DBS as well. But you should know that you're playing hard mode, and you should know what to expect. So, and by the way, since this is really meant to be interactive, this is for you to ask questions. It's entirely meant for beginners, for people who have either never done AX or coming back to the game after a hiatus of maybe even years, or people who have just picked it up as it being free on the Epic Games Store with an Amazon Prime subscription and don't know anything about any of this. So if anything I've said is also confusing, please put in the chat your questions and we will be going through them. There is no silly question. Everything is not presumed to be known. This stream is meant for complete and total beginners. Yes. So we talked about the history and context. We talked about builds. We talked about what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about the alert state of Sol and where to find Thargoid, because a lot of people are coming to Sol and they're saying, there's no Thargoids in Sol. I can't find them. There's nothing here to fight. And it's true to a degree, but there's one exception, and that is the exception that we're all using to fight in Sol, which is actually quite interesting. By the way, NPCs are getting stuck at the mail slot. Don't ask me why, but they are getting stuck over there. It's quite remarkable to see, like, a station right above our ancestral home of planet Earth in a system that is under Thargoid alert. Look at that blue marble. Alright. Let's go to Super Cruise. Spade is asking if a Shard Mamba is viable to fight interceptors. I'm used to flying it with frags in regular PvE. So yes and no is the short answer. If you're kitting a Mamba, I'd imagine you'd be kitting it with 2, maybe 3 large shard cannons, which are engineered for anti-Guardian Zone resistance, as that makes for a kind of reasonable thermal core bomber, even though to put 3 of those weapons on the ship, you basically have to forego using a torpedo. So you need to have someone else hitting the vents for you. Old shards can be used to fight interceptors, but a very short range and require quite a bit of skill to do so. And so they're not really a beginner recommended ship as far as interceptor combat is concerned. They're great as bombers because, again, in the bomber setting, if you're hitting the thermal core with Titan, you're shooting a static object that isn't moving. So it doesn't really matter if the shot speed of a shot is slow or their spread is wide. As you're shooting a target, pretty much anybody can just point at it and press the trigger. But if you're fighting interceptors, you generally will want weapons that have higher shot speed, either the hitscan weapons like Gauss or the much higher shot speed of modified shard cannons, which is what this particular ship kits. So in general, if you're a beginner and you're looking to fight interceptors, I would highly, highly, highly recommend guarding Gauss cannons as a weapon of choice. Thank you for the welcome to Earth. Let's see what other questions are coming in. Not exactly an AX question, but if you pledge yourself to a superpower in power play, does that restrict you from getting ranks in the Navy or Federation Empire? I don't believe so. No, those are separate systems. In fact, as you're doing missions for the Navy or for the Empire to rank up, you should be ranking up with your respective superpower and also getting merits for the missions that you're doing if those happen to coincide with the power that you pledge to. But you can absolutely, there is no mutual exclusive, there's no mutual exclusive sort of rank. I mean, just as you can rank up in where does it even show anymore? I kind of show different things. Just you can rank up with every superpower. You can do so like at the same time in power play. They should not get in the way. D-class repair limpet having the same capacity as an A-class, but they have less mass, which gives you more speed. Yep, that's why combat builds use D-rated repair limpet controllers and not A-rated. Okay. So, and again, keep the questions coming. Like, this is really meant for you to sort of ask questions. So I'll just keep rambling on with other things that I think people should know. But first and foremost, I want to make sure I answer your questions. So, where do you find Thargoids in our system, and in particular in Sol right now? In order to find them, you need to use the full spectrum system scanner. And there's one signal source which is at this frequency, which is actually the Titan. Like when we click on here, you'll see that this is Titan Corshillo, which is on its way to us. And it's still too far away to give us a range, and that's fine. But you can see this practically from halfway across the galaxy. It's a common signal source that is in the background of pretty much all full system scanners. So don't be surprised. And then again, once it gets kind of close, it's going to show the distance counting down that it's approaching. So this is Corshillo. And now, by the way, I misclicked here. And then there's a series instead of signal sources. These are probes, I think, the Voyager and our ancient probes that are not interesting as far as we're concerned. Like, they're there. You can go visit them if you want, but it's nothing to do with combat. So I'll just click them and get out of the way. Now, the signal sources you care about are here in this range over here towards the left, in the sort of third division of the NHSS. And this is where you're going to find the things that we will be looking for. Like, well, not the Voyager. Voyager is an exception. AX ship signatures is the it's the signal source we are looking for. Now, this is a threat level 4, which is something where basically I haven't really had a lot of luck. Like, you'll find some waves of scouts and interceptors coming up at threat level 4, but it's not something that's like particularly interesting. So I'm going to let that be. I'm going to look for AX ship signatures of threat level 6. That is the instance that I'm going to be looking for. There you go, exactly this one. And there's probably a few more, but AX ship signature of threat level 6 is where we want to go. And we're in the Anti Xeno Initiative private group. Oh, something I didn't talk about is you can do all of this in open if you want, but just so you know, there are a lot of gankers in open. And so if you play in open, you should be ready and hopefully also able to defend yourself, because you will get attacked by other humans in open game mode. Alternatively, if you don't want to deal with open and the gankers that are sort of everywhere in open, you can join one of the private groups that are focused on Anti Xeno Combat. The private group I'm playing in is the private group of the Anti Xeno Initiative, which is where is it? I don't think I actually have it in my friends, but there's a commander called, if you search for commander here and search for Anti Xeno Initiative, this is actually a commander name that will show up in your commander list. Here you can click and select request to join private group. I don't have that setting because I'm already in the private group, but if you click on that, it's automatically accept. So you're going to be automatically able to join the private group, and then you can join and play in the private group together with pretty reasonable number of people, because there's like tens of thousands of people in the private group, and there's almost always someone like if you look at the context in local, like there's some random anaconda here that just dropped, but it's a very populated private group. Other private groups include the Xeno Strike Force private group, which is a smaller group, but that's also available for anti-Xeno activities. And then Mobius, which is, again, a PvE-only private group, which is less specifically focused on Anti Xeno Combat, but it also comes with a no-ganking rule focused on PvE activities, of which AX is one. So those are 3 good options for you to join that help you deal with a ganking problem that exists in open. Could I feasibly put together a rescue build for an ASP Explorer, or is the Python still the best beginner-friendly rescue ship? The Python is a much better rescue ship, like, for all intents and purposes. When you can do rescues in an ASP, there's no reason that you couldn't. but you are much more limited in terms of cargo and passenger space, so you're going to rescue a lot less. But you certainly can rescue in an ASP Explorer. No reason not to if that's your thing. And part of it is like there's what optimal, but there's also what is fun to you, and the latter should always be more important in a game after all. So if the ASP Explorer is your thing, go with the ASP Explorer. One thing you will want on Explorer, on rescue ships, by the way, is an electronic countermeasure utility. I'm gonna wait to drop because I'll make this point. An electronic countermeasure utility is important because as you jump out of the system and you head towards your delivery point for your refugees, you will get hyperdicted and interdicted by scythes, which are hunters that essentially are after your cargo and are trying to get and hatch break your cargo to drop humans that they can then scoop up and take off to the Titan to be entombed in biostorage capsules, which is not a nice fate. So if you don't want that to happen to your human cargo, using an electronic countermeasures, or ECM, will allow you to deflect the containment missiles, the FSD reboot missiles that scythes shoot at you. Scythes shoot you missiles that are able to reboot your frameshift drive, which means you cannot jump out for as long as that effect is active, which means you're going to have a hard time. ECM allows you to deflect those missiles, which allows you to get away much more easily. So rescue builds should have ECM for that reason. Okay, now we're kind of going in circles. Let's go a bit forward and then switch back. So AH6 signatures of threat level 6, which is the instance I'm going to, come in two versions. They come in a debris field version, which is absolutely not interesting, and then they come in a capital ship version, which is the version we're looking for. And we'll see immediately up front. This is a debris field version, as you can see from the debris, and, well, as you can see from the debris. So this is the not interesting variant, so we're just going to jump out, because there's going to be some scouts that jump in here, but it's really not an interesting instance by all means and purpose, so we're going to get out of here. And we're going to go look for another one. Our mod short combat is like ships for XCCs when Titan jumps to assault. Do we always work on things, anything that clops? If not, it is railguns. Well, not exactly railguns. They are Guardian Gauss cannons, which is the Guardian version of railguns. I think what's what you're talking about, but I think what's what you mean. Shard condas do work against harder interceptors, but they're very hard to use. Like, they have the ability to give clops in just a single volley, which is most people that build shard condas will generally be using them for. They are capable against harder interceptors, but they're very difficult to use. So it's not so much that the weapon type is the problem, it's the fact that the conda is very slow and a very big target that is the problem. And the general rule of the game in Anti Xeno Combat is to avoid damage, not tank damage. The interceptors do way too much damage, especially Medusas and above, just absolutely wreck ships. And getting hit by them in a sustained fashion is not something that even the tankiest ship in the game can really sustain for more than a few moments. So for that reason, an Anaconda isn't really an ideal ship. What you'll want is a medium ship, like the Crate, like the Python Mark II, even the FDL, like agile, speedy ships that can avoid damage instead of having to tank damage. So that's generally what would be recommended. But if you want to bring a short conda to like an instance in Sol currently, that's fine. The thing you should know about though is that the modified short cannons that your short conda has will not work once Cohio arrives, because they don't have the ability to even be engineered for anti-Guardian Zone resistance. So when Cohio arrives, you'll need to swap them out either for anti-Xeno multi-cannons, which are immune to that effect, those are human weapons, or you will need to engineer Gauss cannons beforehand for anti-Guardian Zone resistance. So that's how I would answer that question. Let's see what else we got here. See if we can find another threat level 6. I've been finding a lot around Jupiter and Saturn, by the way. This is a threat level 4. If we don't find a level 6, we might check that one out. But if we find a level 6, we'll start with that one. This is refugee convoys. That's not interesting. There you go, threat level 6. Let's go. Oh, this one's actually pretty close by, by the way. Right next to us. It's good. Again, there's two versions of this. There's the debris field, which is not interesting, and there's a capital ship one, which is interesting. And again, for those who just joined, this is really meant to be a beginner-friendly stream where the main goal is for you to come and ask any and all questions that you may have. There's no silly question. The expectation and assumption is that you've not played for years, or this might be the first time you do Anti Xeno Combat, and this is a safe spot where you want to ask even the most basic questions, and that's totally fine. This is another debris field instance, so unfortunately this is also not a good one. And this takes a little while to do solo, by the way, but the good thing is everybody in Super Cruise has their own signal sources, so if you have a wing of 4 or 5, no, 4 people in a wing, but sometimes you have more in a wing in a given situation, basically everybody can be looking for an instance, and you'll have someone find one very quickly, and then everybody can just converge to the person that found the instance and head to that one. This is weapons fire, but that's again a different one. What else popped up here? I think this is one of the power play signal sources, is my hunch. It's not even letting me click it for some reason. That's odd. Oh well, let's look at something else. This is, I think, our friend, our user friend, Tohio. Alright, let's see. Ooh, there's something around Earth. Let's see what we got. AX weapons fire. Ooh. I don't know what's going to be at AX weapons fire, but it's around Earth, so I'm going there anyway, because I want to be seeing what fighting interceptors right around Earth. That's like such a cool thing to try. So that's what we're going to do. Super Cruise Overcharge, by the way, is extremely useful in Sol because the distances in Sol are actually quite remarkable. But the crate doesn't have the effects of a newer ship, so you need to turn it off every once in a while, otherwise you overheat. Let's see at some of your questions. You're welcome, Breckrose Alpha. Blocks. Could I 1 versus 1 on an interceptor with just X multi-cannons and engineered long-range thermal and enhanced beams? Absolutely, yes. In fact, if you have the gimbal multi-cannons, you can take up to a Medusa in a 1-on-1. And I've actually done a Cyclops blindfolded with those weapons, believe it or not. That was a fun fight. I'll post a link if you're interested in seeing it, but that's probably not a very beginner-friendly thing to do. So, you know what? I'm not going to post a link. If you want to go look for it, you can go look for it. Blindfolded target combat. But, yeah. I did a Cyclops blindfolded with those multi-cannons. They're very good weapons. They don't hit that hard, but they're very, very friendly to use. So they're very good beginner weapons. Blocks didn't find any threat level 6, didn't see anything. Oh, it is a bit of a luck of a draw. Yeah, so there's some RNG involved. I don't know, I haven't been to weapon fire threat 6, so I don't actually know what to expect there. But it's right next to Earth, so it's going to look cool. No matter what, it's going to show up, so let's do that. Was the anti-guardian field effect able to be engineered against? I heard something about that, but I'm not sure it's actually a thing. So yes, yes it is. It's an engineering available at Ramta. It is only available for non-pre-engineered guardian weapons, so the unlock ones, not the ones that you purchase individually in Mbuni for reference. But for regular guardian shot cannons and for regular guardian Gauss cannons, you can take those to Ramta, and there's an engineering available for protecting those weapons from anti-guardian fields. Alright, this is another debris field, which is kind of again annoying. Oh, but there's an interceptor here, so like we're gonna fight because we're right next to Saw. We gotta fight. That's Saw. We have no choice. Where is Earth, by the way? Earth, there you are. This is such a good screenshot, by the way. Alright, let's engage. Heat sinks. Cyclops are also gonna die very fast. I can't really give it just with 4 modified Guardian Shadow Cans with basic ammo. So I'm gonna take down the first heart first. There we go. Empty my clip so I have a full clip, and then I'm gonna try to give it after the shield drops on this second heart. So stay away from the swarm, which is annoying. Let's see if I can get a screenshot of this thing blowing up with Earth in the background. So this is not where most people fight, because like there's only like 1 or 2 interceptors at a time. Like what we're looking for is the capital ships instance, and we're gonna keep looking after we kind of get rid of this Cyclops. My orbit has stalled, but this is still in yellow phase, so I'm trying to kind of like create an angle by going down here. Wow, fighting right over Earth. Wonder if who would have said we've seen Fargoids right above our home planet. Fargoid's shield is pretty weak, so it should break relatively soon. And then once it does break, I should be able to shoot it down by firing all my weapons at the same time. We'll see. May or may not work. Trying to oh, there we go. Alright, so we are in a perfect range. Bye-bye. Oops, nope. I didn't manage. In fact, I panic shielded it. And I'm getting zapped. That outbreak. Panic shield. Let's do a little ram and take this shield down with a little kinetic energy. Oh, I couldn't really kind of ram it because my engines were cut by the lightning effect. It's too bad. Alright. Let's just shoot down the shield the old school way. And then take down the heart. Alright. This one is almost done. Keep shooting it. Just to speed up this fight, since we want to go back to chatting and answering your questions. Panic shielded it because we took down that shield down too quickly. See, sometimes you gotta go slow to go fast. And this is like a fight where we're going too fast. And as a result, we're going slow. There you go. It's dead, Jim. I missed the Earth screenshot. But anyway, this allows you to complete missions, by the way, which gives you material rewards and the like, and which is nice. But let's go back to your questions. Thoughts on the pre-built Rescue Python. So I was talking about it earlier. It's pretty decent. It's also an invalid build because it has 5 weapons which require an experimental weapon stabilizer, and it doesn't have an experimental weapon stabilizer. So if you take one of those weapons off, you cannot put it back on because it's an invalid build. So it's a build that really didn't go through QA, and I really don't know how it made it onto the ARC store. It's one of those things that befuddles me. It's like whoever does those builds really seeks no input or very little input from folks that play the game, and it's kind of a little bit sad. But besides that, it's a pretty viable rescue ship. The Python is an excellent rescue ship in and of itself, so it's something that definitely is worth considering. Do the hearts get vulnerable in a random order? Yes, the hearts are vulnerable in a random order. The petals where the hearts are always in the same pattern of the interceptor, but the order in which they exert is random. So when you have one heart left, you can predict which one heart it is, because you can look at the pattern and you know which heart is missing. But up to the last one, you're not able to predict. You're not able to predict which heart it is. And while we check, I'm gonna also put some repairs, because like, why not? Might as well. Let's see. If I take a station mission to kill an interceptor, do I need to kill it? Or is it just getting some shots in enough to get the mission reward when it blows up? The answer is a bit nuanced. In general, it's sufficient for you to just get some shots in. So if you get the bond, you should be getting credit for the kill. There's been some inconsistency, though, that if someone from outside of your wing gets the final kill shot on the interceptor, sometimes that doesn't register as mission progress for you, even though you get the bond. But so long as someone in your wing gets the kill shot, then it very consistently registers as progress for your mission. So that's that. So to do the engineering on a, yes, so there are special materials required to do the engineering. There used to be 3. The third one, tactical core chips, was dropped just this week, because that one came from Revenants, and there's no Revants right now in the game, so it's impossible to acquire. The other 2 materials are caustic crystals, which you can find free floating in space at Fargoid graveyard sites. Let me show you where Fargoid graveyard sites are. If you look at the Fargoid war map and you click on any of the destroyed interceptors, let's say Tyrannus, you see Titan destroyed, debris field detected, you can actually select the Titan, and this is a Titan graveyard. You can actually jump carriers here. The system is open to carriers, so if you have a carrier, you can jump a carrier here. And exploring the graveyard will allow you to find caustic crystals free floating in the graveyard. The other material, it's more tricky because it's called hardened surface fragments. Those are generally obtained by scraping them off of the hull of live Titans. Unfortunately, there's no live Titans currently in the game because Koshida's on the move and the other 7 are destroyed. There's inconsistent reports on whether people can find those at Titan graveyards. If you can find them, they are rare. But that's possibly the only place where you can find those. So both materials you should be able to acquire at Titan graveyards, noting that one you definitely can acquire. The other one, a bit more of a question mark, whether you can still find them. Caustic crystals are free floating in space, so you'll find them just by flying around. Hardened surface fragments need to be scraped off of the surface of a Titan and appears like light, bright green dots on the surface. Once you get close enough, you can target them and you shoot them with any weapon, and they'll spot out some of those materials, which then you can scoop up with a limpet or directly with your cargo scoop. So that's your question. I think I answered. We talked about that Python. We talked about the hearts. Hit the like button. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for doing that. Yes. Or if the Fargos are going to show up and you'll leave. 07 by the Masher. I use a crate with anti-Guardian Zone shards for bombing. Excellent ship. I'm trying to get a friend to join, but not sure what to recommend for him fighting a Titan for the first time. AXMCs or AXMRs? So that's a good question. If you want just to have a bomber, that's a dedicated bomber, focused only on doing damage to the thermal core, then AXMRs are the way to go because those do more damage to the thermal core. However, if you also want to be able to shoot the occasional scout or engage interceptors, Anti Xeno missile racks are extraordinarily difficult to use for that reason, and Anti Xeno multi-cannons are far, far, far better. In fact, they're probably the best anti-scout weapons you have available in your arsenal, bar none. So Anti Xeno multi-cannons are a lot more versatile. So up to you. I think Anti Xeno multi-cannons are probably more versatile, and if I was to recommend something to a complete beginner, I would probably go with multi-cannons. But if you feel they would be happier in a kind of dedicated bomber role, then you can go missiles. And I think that answers that question. We talked about the station mission and reward when it blow up. Are those regular shard cannons or the special ones you can't get anymore? So these are the special ones that you can still get, as in these are modified Guardian shard cannons, which you can still acquire from Emboni. Like Emboni has a unique system with a station in Emboni, which is called Prospects Deep in here, which is a place that has, I think, where it's not on this plan. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's, is it 3A? Let's see. It's Prospects Deep is somewhere around here. There you go, Prospects Deep. This is a place where you buy, the only place in the entire universe where you buy modified Guardian shard cannons. This is a permit lock system. So to get here, you need to actually work for Azimuth Biotech, this faction, in the surrounding systems, either sell them a bunch of exploration data or get in their good graces by doing missions or bounty hunting or whatever you want. And then you'll do the permit mission that will unlock access to Emboni, and that will let you come to Prospect Deeps, and this is where you're able to purchase those weapons. Be mindful, they're not unlocks. They're so once you, it's unlike Guardian Gauss cannons where you kind of pay the materials and then you can buy weapons for credits forever. Modified Guardian shard cannons and all the modified weapons that you buy here are pay per module. So the materials are for one weapon and one weapon only. It's not an unlock. So if you want 4 of those weapons, you got to bring 4 times the materials. So they're very expensive also in terms of materials and quite a bit of a grind. It's up to you whether it's worth it or not. They're excellent weapons in certain conditions. But honestly, if you're just beginning, starting out, Guardian Gauss cannons or even enhanced Anti Xeno multi-cannons, which are available for credits to anybody with no grind, are pretty decent weapons too, which honestly are where I would personally start. In solo mode, I think that doesn't affect what I talked about in terms of answering your question, Space Monkey. Like whether you're lagging or not, the same rules apply in terms of like having progress towards mission register if you at least get the bond. Is there a caustic cloud in Graveyard, Stone Gunner? So that's an interesting question. There is the week after the Graveyard becomes accessible. And then the caustic dies down over the course of 2 following weeks progressively to the point where caustic entirely dissipates and caustic is no longer present. For all the graveyards in the game, caustic has dissipated. So there's no caustic in any of the graveyards in the game. As a new player getting the Farseer build, what should be my goal alongside PoE 2 coming out next week? I'm not sure what you mean with PoE 2. What is PoE 2 coming out next week? I need more information, Backstorm, to answer your question. Commander Billy Zara is saying the Clipper is best for a Titan Graveyard. Yep, it's excellent, but you can use really any ship. Graveyards are pretty forgiving environments. Don't know if you remember when I asked about the AX Crate Mark II. I'm buying it now. What do I replace the Bywheel Shield with? Or did you say drop it all together or keep everything else? You should replace it with a hull reinforcement package. That's what you should replace the Bywheel with on the AX Crate Mark II. Also, if you have an additional hot minute, another modification that's absolutely worthwhile to do on the pre-built AX Crate Mark II is go and get your beam laser re-engineered. It only comes in efficient thermal vent. The thermal vent part is fine, but the efficient part is just wrong. Like, thermal vent works by inverting the thermal load of a weapon. So the higher the thermal load of a weapon, the more it cools you. Efficient has a much lower thermal load, which means the weapon cools you a lot less and has a lot less range. So it kind of really sucks as a weapon that's meant to cool you as a utility first and foremost. Again, designed by someone who doesn't really understand how the mechanics of our own game works, sadly. That should have been a long-range weapon. So if you have a chance, replace that engineering with long range. Make sure to also sort of stick with the thermal vent experimental, because that's why you want it in the first place. make those 2 changes, and it's an excellent starter ship. You're welcome, Battle Masher. All wild. They just have the cannons there. Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it? Path of Exile. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what you mean with regards to your goal being a long Path of Exile coming out next week. I guess right now, I think everyone's goal, or at least my goal, which I presume a lot of people are sharing, or at least people who are on the stream share, is to do everything we can to help in the defense of Sol, as this is effectively our last stand against the Fargoid invasion, and it is defining thrust towards a very ancestral home from the last remaining Titan. So getting involved is going to be what I think is a defining moment in a 10-year-old franchise of the game. So personally, I very much look forward to being part of it, however I can contribute, and I'm pretty sure anybody who can contribute in any form or shape will have a blast and will feel truly meaningful contribution, regardless of how small it may be. That's how I feel about it. You're welcome, Plax. Access to call 70, Alex, I don't know. Like that, I do think, especially since they've just started selling anti-Titan ships, I doubt that they're really meant to sell those ships for a once and done thing in a week's time. So my hunch is we'll find that there's more Titans than the 8 that just came to visit. I may be wrong. Oh, 70 Azevedo, like, how long do you think it'll take roughly to get an engineered Crate Mark II? I got Gauss cannons and an engineered Fed, but nothing else. Well, the low engineering version of the Common Core is very accessible because it only has starter engineers required, and with the mega boost that material grinding has gotten in the game, like getting materials has become really, really easy. So getting a low engineering Crate Mark II, especially if you have Guardian Gauss already unlocked, ought to be a thing of a couple of hours, maybe an afternoon if you take it really chill. But that's the most it will take you to kind of get to low engineering Crate Mark II. Now, if you go into G5 and you don't have the engineers unlocked, then that's going to take longer. That's going to take days, not hours. But even the low engineering Common Core is an extremely capable build. Yeah, well, we were talking about it earlier on. There's different estimates with regards to when the Titan is going to become, it's going to show up in Sol. The latest that I've heard, based on the latest analysis of the data in game, suggests that it's actually going to be next week on December 6th. Earlier estimates had put the date a week out on December 13. But again, the reality is we don't know. That thing may slow down or speed up, and front development has not been shy in making changes that suits their personal work agenda. So I do think they want to wrap this up before their winter holidays, so that's my guess. But other than that, it's hard to say if it's going to be December 6th or December 13th. But one of those 2 dates, I would bet my money on. More likely than not, December 6th at this point in time, based on what I heard. Yeah, Careful Dragon is saying G5 took him a week at 5 hours a day. So that sounds about right. So unlocking the engineers in particular can take a while. I have a pre-built crate if I want to redo the beam from event to long range. Do I still need to unlock the engineer for it? Or as it's been engineer already, is that enough? No, I think you need to unlock the engineer, but I think, doesn't the Dweller do beam engineering, at least to G3? I think so. I mean, let's look at the engineering thing, but I do think that the Dweller does. And the Dweller is like a default engineer, right? It's like one of the immediately unlocked or very immediately known and easily unlocked. Yeah, common knowledge. Traded at least 5 black markets. Hopefully you've traded the 5 black markets and paying 500,000 credits. If you don't have 500 credits handy, you probably shouldn't be doing Anti Xeno Combat. So, and this guy does pulsed lasers, but I think it does also burst and beam lasers up to G3 or something like that. And G3 long range is plenty. Again, if you're getting started, it's fine. If you ever wanted to go to G5, then you had to go to Brute Tarquin, who is the guy that does, where is he? Can't even find it. Where are you? There. Brute Tarquin is the guy that does grade 5 for beams, but grade 5 engineering for beam prolong, like again, as a beginner build, is totally overkill. But you need to unlock Karatani first. You need competent or higher in your Pirate Federation combat rank, and you need to bring in a bunch of Fujin T, which is like there's stuff that you need to do. There's more additional steps. How do you find Fargos to fight well in Sol? Spot direct. That's a good question, and one that we're talking about earlier, and that I was mentioning right now. Hold on, let me go back to Super Cruise. So right now in Sol, the place to fight Fargoids is really AX ship signatures, signal sources of a threat level 6, where there are caustic damage detected. What the hell is that? Oh, because I have caustic scooped up. That's why it's saying that. So you want to tune to this range in your FSS, in your full signal 6 stand, and then you want to look for threat level 6 AX ship signatures. Or is it down here? I don't think this is down here. This is a non-human signal source. This Fargo is there too, but like, that's an Orphis, and I kind of don't want to deal with an Orphis right now. A lone Orphis. So I want to kind of see if we can find the capital ship instance that we were talking about earlier. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's 2 versions of the threat level 6. This is AX weapon fire. I might go to that one, but this is not the one I want. AX ship signatures is the one I want, but there isn't one right now. So let's go to AX weapon fires of threat level 6, which is by the way around here. AX ship signatures of threat level 6 have 2 variants. One only has a debris field and spawns some very boring waves of scouts and interceptors. Another one instead has capital ships in it. Both Farraguts in one version and Majestics in the other version. Which is, by the way, kind of remarkable to see Majestic interdictors in Sol. Like, that's not something you'd imagine you'd see anytime soon. But there they are. And that's the instance you want, because in that instance, you will constantly have spawning waves of 4 interceptors at a time if you have 1 capital ships, or 8 interceptors at a time if you have 2 capital ships, which makes for a very interesting instance in a group, and one that makes for quite engaged Fargoid combat. Anyway, this is a debris field instance, so it's not what we're looking for, so we're going to skedaddle and get out of here. So I think I answered that question again. If you use the AXMC, you target the hearts after the shield is down, just like you do with your good shard cannons. I have the core built Crate Mark II, OG5, but I have no Guardian weapons, only the modules. Okay. Yeah, if you use Anti Xeno multi-cannons, you would target the hearts when they are exerted, or you can target them even before they're exerted, but you don't know which one is exerting, so that's not going to be particularly helpful. So then you shoot the sort of center of a Goid until the heart pops out, and then you sub-target the heart, and you shoot the heart. So that's how you generally do it, which is why you need an enhanced Xeno scanner, by the way, to use gimbal weapons, because otherwise you're not going to be able to sub-target hearts, which means you're not going to be able to hit hearts with those weapons. For a beginner, do you believe mod shards or gout is the correct answer, just from an ease of use perspective? I mean, if you go just from an ease of use perspective, Sinai, gimbaled, enhanced multi-cannons are the easiest to use. So I would go with those if ease of use is the main concern. Beyond that, Gauss and shards have their pros and cons in terms of ease of use. Like Guardian Gauss is like a precision weapon, which is extremely effective. It's a hit scan. It has no travel time, so it's kind of easier to sort of aim, but you got to be precise. Shards have more like a spread, so you don't need to be as precise, but shards have a travel time, so they're harder to aim because you need to lead the target somewhat. And so there's pros and cons, and I don't know if one is inherently superior to the other. What I can tell you is the grind to get Guardian Gauss is exceptionally lower than the grind to get mod shard. So if you're a beginner, you almost certainly will want to start with Gauss. because in the time you can get Gauss, you won't even be able to acquire a single mod shard, and you need 4 for this build. So it's not where you would start as a beginner. Just got root to I can be feeding Soul Invasion. Took me a full day. Yep, yeah, it does take a while. Engineers do take a while to unlock. G5, some long range V beams. Should have fixed over gimbal for PvE. Maybe for Goids is better gimbaled. I mean, there's pros and cons. Like, gimbal has a higher thermal load, so gimbal actually cools you more than fixed. So for a main utility purpose of that weapon, which is to cool you, gimbal is better. But gimbal does obviously less damage, so it will kind of affect less the velocity at which shields collapse on an interceptor. So like, if that matters to you, then yeah, then it's not going to be as good. But personally, I think it really depends on what weapons I'm using. I tend to use a fixed beam with fixed weapons and a gimbal beam with gimbal weapons. As with gimbal weapons, you're generally off-center more. And if you have a fixed beam, then you're kind of shooting empty space where your weapons are shooting in a different direction. So if you're using gimbal multi-cannons, I would use a gimbal beam. If I'm using Gauss, I would use a fixed beam. That's generally my approach to selecting those weapons. So careful, Dragon, the modified multi-shot Gauss, if you like that weapon, you should use it, but you should use it knowing that they're net inferior to the regular Gauss. They have the same nominal damage, but they have a worse fall off. This is where we're going to go. Airship sickness threat level 6. Hopefully we can get the capital ship instance this time. It's 26 kilowatt seconds away, but with SCO, we're going to be there soon. And by the way, they're not hit scan anymore, because now they have a triple shot effect, which makes them much harder to actually consistently hit things with. So, like, they're really a not recommended weapon at all. How do you ditch the swarm the best way? Hard to aim and flight assist off. So I don't know what control scheme you use, Eminem, but aiming flight assist off is 90% setting up your controls right, and 10% practice. But if you don't have your controls set up right, then forget about aiming and flight assist off. So let me link you a video about setting up your controls in mouse and keyboard, if you use mouse and keyboard, to properly fly and flight assist off. If you haven't done this, this is the single biggest difference that it will make to your flying ever. Everything else is less important. What ship you fly, what weapon you use. If you haven't done your tuning of your control scheme to fly and flight assist off as described in this video, everything else is less important. So I highly recommend it. If you're on joystick, as it sounds you are, there isn't like a magical trick like the one that I've kind of shown in the video that I just linked. So that video I linked is not going to be relevant to you. There, candidly, it's just a matter of practice and getting sort of muscle memory for flying a ship in its very sensitive FA off mood. Some people like to try and do like things like joystick curves. I personally recommend strongly against joystick curves. What I sometimes encourage people to do is I encourage them to limit the axis of their joystick to a percentage of its total value. Let's say half. That makes it a lot less sensitive, and it kind of allows you to at least control the ship even though you're not using the full control authority of a ship. It kind of lets you get a handle of how the ship handles, and then progressively increase it once you get the hang of it to whatever you're comfortable. Ideally it's a max, but you might not get comfortable with the max. It's better to have less control authority but be able to control the ship than have more control authority and kind of, you know, flail around pointlessly. So that's generally what I recommend, and some people have told me they found that useful to try that. Come on, give me a capital ship. Ah, debris fields. We are unlucky with our rolls today. Let's see if there's anything that's spawning somehow here, but I don't think so, no. It's another debris field. We're also pretty far, so it's kind of dark in here. We're also kind of running out of fuel with all the Super Cruise overcharge going back and forth. This is why kind of looking for that good Fargate instances, the one with capital ships, is best done in a group, because everybody is like, it's actually not a bigger dead zone, M&M. It's kind of the opposite of a bigger dead zone. Like, you basically still have little to no dead zone, but basically if you move your joystick entirely to the left, you would be setting a value of -128 on the input. Or if you move it entirely to the right, you would have a value of +127. And what I'm saying is limited, so that full right is +64 and full left is -64 instead of their full range values. But don't change the dead zone. How you avoid getting hit by the swarm. So boost orbiting is one of the most reliable ways to avoid getting hit by the swarm. And by the way, I actually think I may have to go back to base to refuel, otherwise I'm going to run out of fuel and explode. Or maybe I just will let myself run out of fuel and explode, depending on like what I find around here. But I don't think there's any other instances that would let me find interceptors here. These is probably like at 500,000 light seconds at Persephone, so we are not going there. This one just expired. So now we're next to Earth. Non-human signal source of threat level 8. This normally is a Hydra, but around here I don't think it is. Well, let's go check that one out and see what it is. Also, there's nothing else for that. So yeah, right now there's no go. It's, or at least in my instance, in Sol. But as I said, everybody has their own signal sources, so if I was in a wing of like another 10 people, like we will be tomorrow for an event we're hosting, somebody would have run into a capital ship instance way before that. Way before now. Alright, we kind of got a mail and fuel tank low. Yeah, I know. Let's stop this now. And at least we got all the way up to 1000 C, which is nice. During flight, I play on controller and I tend to bounce between FA on and FA off. That's fine. Yeah, it's not uncommon to kind of bounce between FA on and FA off, depending on the situation and context. Alright, now we're real low on fuel. But at least we got it close enough. For those who just joined, as I was saying, this is really meant to be a stream for you to ask your questions. As complete beginners, there's no silly questions. This is meant for people who are new to Anti Xeno Combat or new to the game, really. Or just picked it up as it's now free on the Epic Games Store and want to get involved with current events like the Battle of Sol, which is upcoming. And have questions about this beautiful but incredibly complicated game. Alright. I would boost at this point, but I think I'm gonna completely run out of fuel if I do. So I have to kind of slow body there. But these are tactical core chips are no longer required. Alright. Now threat level 8 in the Pleiades or the Nebulas would be a solo Hydra instance or Medusa with scouts. But I think it's somewhat different in our alert system. So we shall see what we find. At least we're close to a base station, so fuel shouldn't be too much of an issue, but we'll see. Do I have an AX build for a Chieftain? Mine is pretty basic. Oh, we got a whole got a better in a build. I got a whole video about the AX Chieftain in 2024. So I'll drop here and then I'll link you a video so you can see it. That includes also several builds in the video description. I like. This is a bunch of scouts here. Right. But let me go and link you that video and then I will deal with scouts. Chieftain. It's actually the opening episode of a Bug Smasher series. And here we go. This is the Chieftain video and builds. Those scouts just jump out on me. I think they did. I think everything jumped out of me. I'm just all alone in this debris field. That's so sad. We've not been like we were spawned tonight. Modules are kind of repairable, so let's do that. After the scout spawn, I think there's another wave where interceptors spawn, and like this is like a threat level 8, and all we had was like 4 scouts. There's something again wrong with the threat levels around here. Let's see, in the meanwhile, if we can target our Legion Zhao. Where is it? Around here. There it is. Oh, I'm right next to it. Cool. Let's see if something spawns in the next minute or so. Yeah, they saw me and run. They blocked me, so I can't instance with them. You have a Challenger decked out with 1 Anti Xeno multi-cannon, 2 Guardian shard cannons, and a thermal beam laser. Should I revamp for Titan Core combat? Or just rebuild a Mark II for just Titan Core? I mean, it's up to you, Epilozo, and how much time you have. Unless you've engineered the Guardian Gauss cannons for anti-Guardian Zone resistance, those are going to melt when Koshira arrives, so you can't use those without engineering protection. And even if you do use those don't have a lot of ammo, and you'll run out of ammo very, very quickly in Titan space. The multi-cannon is fine, but again, if you're going in Titan space, the Crate Mark II is just a better platform cannonly. Again, I can link you a video which describes the Crate Common Core, and I'll let you decide for yourself if you want to build one, but do watch that video. It gives you a sense of like how flexible the ship is, not just in Titan space, but also in Anti Xeno Combat zones and pretty much anywhere. Hey Sawdust, welcome to the stream. Alright, nothing else is spawning, so let's head back to base. Looks like there's someone in the instance, which is nice. Also means I'm Braben tunneling my way back to Super Cruise. Let's go refuel because we're completely out of fuel. And we're kind of right next to a base station. God, the Chieftain with arcs have upgraded to a meta from the video, except the large AX multi-cannons. Will this work, or do I need... Oh, let me drop first. Will this work, or do I need the large Guardian Gauss? Don't have any way to engineer new Gauss. Well, first of all, there is no large Guardian Gauss cannon. I wish there was. The best there is the medium ones. If you don't have a way to engineer them, then use what we got. Use what you got. If you have upgraded it towards a meta chieftain, you have a very capable ship to begin with. You should be aware that guarding house doesn't have a lot of ammo, so you're gonna run out of ammo pretty quickly in Titan space once you do take it to a Titan. But for as long as you do have ammo, it's gonna do pretty fine. What's here? Oh, a Type 8 during rescues, almost certainly. Let's see if we can dock and flight assist off, since everybody's talking about flight assist off. I actually prefer docking flight assist off. There's my pad. Especially with a rotating station, I find it just so much easier with flight assist off. There we go. Oh. So much easier if my landing gear clips. If it doesn't clip. Thank you. You're welcome, Christopher. Alright, let's rearm, refuel, repair, restock. As you can see, I picked up a lot of Medusa and Basilisk missions. I'm gonna clear most of them tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow we have an event with Xeno Strike Force where we're taking a pretty powerful flight of maybe up to 20 people out for some serious combat, and it'll be fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. Well, we have completed a mission, by the way. Now the Klops we killed earlier was a Klops mission. Cool. Let's turn it in. Alright. Give us a space to pick another one. Let's pick one with materials that we want. Military supercapacitors. Those are nice, but I don't think we want to do two hydras when hydras are nowhere to be seen right now. Military grade alloys. Proto-radiolic alloys. Let's take the proto-radiolic alloys. Probably full on these, but whatever. Cool. We are full of missions again. Do I need anti-guardian engineering for crystal surface fragment mining? No, you don't. There's no guardian field in Titan graveyards, so you can bring any guardian weapon. You can bring anything you want. They're very friendly environments as far as Anti Xeno Combat is concerned. There's also NPCs spawning now that Caustic has dissipated, so you're gonna be okay. Bring a fast ship. Bring a cold ship. Try not to get too much attention, and you're gonna be fine. Do bring collect Olympic controllers though, because you'll be wanting to be collecting things. Also, keep in mind, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking just for those materials, you're fine, but there's also a bunch of overfloating cargo in Titan graveyards, and a lot of that cargo is caustic or corrosive. So, unless you're bringing corrosion-resistant cargo racks, which you probably don't have if you're a beginner, you may want to not pick up that cargo because it will corrode your ship. And also, I'm not sure you have a use for that cargo right now, so don't pick that up. Just set it to ignore on your ignore list, except for what you're looking for, and you're gonna be fine. And the enhanced multi-cannons on the pre-built crate as good as the Azimuth AXMCs, or should I swap them over? So that's also a good question, Space Monkey. I have a video where I actually compare them. I don't know if you're interested in that as well, but like, let me see if I post that one. Azimuth. Multi-cannon review, here it is. Where I review them and specifically compare them with the regular ones, which the pre-built ship comes equipped with. And I think the too long didn't watch version of the answer is that Azimuth multi-cannons are a bit of a side grade compared to the regular ones. They do more damage on a sustained basis, but they generate a lot more heat, which means they're a lot harder to cool, and which means they're also a lot more dangerous to use in Titan space. Titan space fighters, at least the Titan space fighters I use with multi-cannons, use the regular ones, not the Azimuth ones. The azimuth ones are good where you don't really care that much about heat. So like at spire sites and in Anti Xeno Combat zones, then if you have a choice, you bring the azimuth ones. But if you're going to Titan space, you do care about heat a lot. And personally, I bring the regular one instead of the Aziz one for that reason. Yeah, I know Epilozo, this is very new to a lot of people who are coming back or saw the Defense of Sol. I mean, there's so many messages of people who are out in the black 30,000 light years from Sol and are kind of heading to the neutron superhighway and jumping from neutron star, double timing it to get back just to participate in this. So you're not alone. There's a lot of people in this situation. Is it feasible role for the AX Condor SLF? I love SLF, so getting a friend jump in the Altair presence and play with them. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, I mean, again, this is a complicated thing, and unfortunately, it's also another example of poor game design. So, Guardian fighters were originally designed with the idea of, I'm going to have very little hull, but I'm going to have very strong shields as far as an SLF is concerned. That was the original design. That was before interceptors were given phasing damage that pierced through shields. Then interceptors were given phasing damage that pierced through shields, but Guardian SLFs were never adjusted. As a result, the super fragile hull of Guardian SLFs gets obliterated by the phasing damage of interceptors in no time. I will also add, Guardian fighters are subject to the anti-Guardian zone field. So if you launch a Trident or like any of the Guardian fighters, basically it will explode just after leaving the launch bay. Now when it comes to human SLFs, like the Condor or the Taipan, those at least don't immediately die, but the Anti Xeno weapons aren't really that great and really don't do that much damage. So if you want to use one to kind of like launch a friend and have a friend fly around, you can do that. But I would also encourage you to do it in a kind of small instance because NPC piloted SLFs cause immense lag for everybody. At least in some occasions are reported to. And so don't be surprised if you get yelled at for launching an SLF in a group with our Anti Xeno commanders, because everybody's going to assume that it's an NPC SLF before they realize that actually a commander piloting one, and it's going to assume that's going to result in lagging the instance out for everybody. So because they're not useful, because they die so quickly, because they lag the instance for everybody, SLFs really shouldn't be used in Anti Xeno Combat in the current state of the game. It is very unfortunate because like SLFs are a ton of fun. I'm with you. Like I wish they were better. Like, but they're not. They are terrible for all of these reasons. They are truly terrible. All right, folks. Any other questions? Keep them coming. Again, I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your questions as beginnerish or as straightforward. Like this is really meant to be a stream for beginners, for people who are not familiar with Anti Xeno Combat. Anything I can show you in the game, around the game, I am very happy to do. Again, this is the common core crate that I showed you earlier with Guardian Shouts built for Anti Xeno Combat. I should have a fixed beam here, but I have a gimbal one simply because I had it lying around. Utility mounts are 2 heat sinks, a caustic sink, and a shutdown fuel neutralizer I was showing earlier. This is a lightweight alloys, or you can use military grade with heavy duty and deep plating. The power plant, very important for Titan space, is low emissions with thermal spread. Thrusters or dirty drives with drag drives, almost universally the way to go. There's very few exceptions. The primary exception is if you're flying a shielded build in Titan space, the heat generated by the shield forces you in several cases to use clean drives instead of dirty drives. But that is a truly specialized case, which really only applies to the Python Mark II build. I have a bit of cold. Like, part of having 3 children is they get all kind of like bugs with them, and you catch them too. There's no way to avoid it, but it's a beautiful thing, so can't really complain. Frameshift drive is traditional increased range mass manager. Light support is light wave. Power distributor is charge enhanced with super conduits. Sensors are 60 long range and the standard fuel tank. Then for optional internals, like again, it's pretty standard. Repelling pin controller, a cargo rack, 1 large module reinforcement package, in 2 small module reinforcement packages, an AFMU somewhere in there, and the rest is hull reinforcement packages. Very standard repair build. Very standard shieldless repair build. And the so-called common core. As a beginner, if I have a choice between the Python Mark II, Mandalay, or Crate Mark II for taking to the Titan, easily the Crate Mark II as a beginner. The Crate Mark II is also a super versatile ship that you can take to anything AX related. You can do solo combat with it. You can do Anti Xeno Combat zones. You can do freaking rescues with it. You can do Titan bombing. You can do fighting in Titan space. You can do... It's the most versatile ship. The other ships you mentioned, the Python Mark II is the best Titan bomber, but it is only a Titan bomber, really. So, and it's also harder to use. So, if you are more experienced and you're going for the best Titan bomber, but you already have a few Titans under your belt, then building a Python Mark II as a dedicated bomber might make sense. But as a beginner, go with Crate Mark II. The Mandalay is a lot of fun, but the Mandalay isn't really a combat ship, despite it doing okay in combat. Its power distributor in particular holds it extremely back. For reference, the power distributor of Mandalay is not 1 but 2 classes smaller than the Crate Mark II. The Crate Mark II has a class 7, the Mandalay has a class 5. And that difference is humongous. The Mandalay also doesn't have large hard points, and in Titan space, pretty much all the best weapons are come in large format. Be they multi-cannons, be they regular old shards, or be they missile racks. And the Mandalay can't kit any of them. You have to kit the smaller versions, but the smaller ones are really, really a lot worse than the large variants. So the Mandalay makes for a terrible Titan bomber for that reason. It makes for an okay solo fighter and for a decent Anti Xeno Combat fighter, which is a ton of fun to fly. I've been flying it quite a lot in the past, so I'm a big fan of a Mandalay. But as a beginner, the answer is clear. You should go with Crate Mark II. Is there a time limit for missions? If not, is it worth stacking missions? So there is a time limit on missions, a couple of days usually. Yeah, it's a couple of days. So yeah, you gotta complete them in a couple of days, otherwise they expire. And then you can obviously get a rep loss if that happens. Stacking them, I mean, the thing is, you do get progress on more than one at a time. So if they are from different factions, so that's one of the things to keep in mind. If, for example, this is from Mavagaya, and this is also from Mavagaya, so these will not stack and will be completed sequentially. But the next Basilisk, well, it's also from Mavagaya, so it's all kind of sequentially. This Basilisk, which is from Sol Nationalist, this will complete at the same time as one of the Mavagaya missions registers progress. And by the way, a lot of people are going to give me grief for picking up missions from Mavagaya, but it's a defense of Sol. It is what it is. People are going to pick up missions and not pay too much attention. It's going to happen. I'm sorry. I apologize. How would I compare the Mamba or Conda for AX compared to a Crate? Well, they're so different ships. It's almost 2 completely different comparisons. The Mamba is closer to a Crate. It's faster, obviously. It's got much more limited internals. That's probably the most remarkable things, which tends to skew the Mamba usually towards a shielded build, which for AX just in general doesn't work very well. You can build the Mamba as a Titan bomber, and it works okay, but it's being completely power created by the Python Mark II in that role. So
it's hard to justify using the Mamba nowadays in that capacity. I love a Mamba. I like flying the Mamba. I have an AX Mamba and I've been using quite a bit. In fact, my original Titan bomber was based on a Mamba design, and I got a lot of grief for that one, by the way. Good chunk of it just justified, I will say. But still, it is a capable Titan bomber, which has been completely outclassed by the Titan Mark II at this point. And in solo combat, it does okay. It is kind of held back by the fact that its thermals are not great. In fact, they're pretty bad. And its hardpoint configuration is not ideal for Anti Xeno Combat because the huge hardpoint isn't going to do much for you. You can put a huge beam in there, but other than drain your capacitor and cool you off particularly quickly, it's not all that better than a small beam. But you only have 3 hardpoints where you can mount medium or larger weapons, which is what most Anti Xeno weapons are. And so if you want flak, you go down to 2, and it just starts getting a little iffy in terms of like what the ship can do. So those are limitations of a Mamba. The Anaconda is a completely different universe of a ship. I mean, the Anaconda is a large hulking AX beast, and I don't think I would do it justice to that question in just a minute. So I'm going to link you a video where I talk about the AX version of the Anaconda. And there I talk about the AX version of Anaconda extensively, and I encourage you to watch that video if you want kind of more detailed answer in regards to how the Anaconda handles. There's some things for which it is absolutely great. In particular, fighting at spire sites with a modified plasma charger Anaconda wing is the best way to do spire sites, bar none. But you need a good group, and you need some pretty high-end ships. So for a beginner, not so good. Anacondas with modified shard cannons are famously for being able to gib Cyclops left and right. In fact, I was the one who popularized a video, which apparently is now going viral because YouTube has decided to push shorts left and right on being hyperdicted by free Cyclops and kind of blasting them in 30 seconds, which is kind of funny. But it's a bit of a meme build, and again, you can use it also for harder interceptors, but it's difficult to use and impractical, so not something I would recommend to less experienced commanders. What do you think of Guardian, hull, and module reinforcement? I use both right now in my crate, also use shield since my hull goes down a lot. So, it's a good question. Guardian hull reinforcement packages have somewhat niche uses. The good thing about them is they're naturally immune to anti-Guardian fields. They're the only Guardian module that actually is immune to anti-Guardian fields. Because it doesn't have its own integrity, because it only adds integrity to the ship. So it is a module that has its use. 5% caustic resistance means the smaller version of the Guardian hull reinforcement packages with its identical 5% caustic resistance is kind of handy if you're kind of building ships to be true hull tanks. Guardian module reinforcement packages I effectively have stopped using because I find that the additional integrity that they provide compared to regular packages isn't all that handy, and the power grid requirement to use them is actually pretty significant, which also means they generate heat in addition to requiring power grid. And since most of my builds are actually very, very tight on power grid requirements, I almost never have the power budget to slot in a Guardian module reinforcement package. Furthermore, those are not immune to the anti-Guardian field effect, so if you want to use them in Titan space, you gotta engineer them for the anti-Guardian zone resistance, which is an additional step and hassle. So combine all those things, and I generally just don't use them anymore. Welcome, Mr. Gamma 195. I've never done AX stuff before, so the Soul Invasion, the first experience, this is exactly what we're here. This is exactly what this stream is for with it. And I'm not that far of engineering either. I've been trying to find interceptors and the AX multis. Okay, well, in a great place, you're doing the right things. Do you have any video guides you recommend for the engineering grind? I started a few days ago, so I don't really know much. Sorry. No, that's totally fine. Again, that's what we're here for. probably the best video for complete beginners in Anti Xeno Combat is what we call Anti Xeno Academy. That's not what we call it, it's what the video is called too, which is basically the introduction to Anti Xeno Combat, and it's a half an hour video, but it's worth every minute of your time if you ask me, because it goes through all the basic concepts that you will need to know around Fargo. It's more focused on the old school sort of one-on-one interceptor combat before the war. So it doesn't talk a lot about the war, but all the concepts in there are still relevant also in a war setting. The war just adds complexity and more things to it. So that's Academy. And beyond that, if you're going to be building one ship, as I was mentioning earlier, my strong recommendation would be to build the so-called Common Core of Crate Mark II, which is instead this other video that I'm linking now. And this one describes instead what is the best ship for the war and for really most AX activities nowadays. Common Core Crate. So hopefully those two get you started. There's another video that talks about, it's really an end-to-end guide to Titans. And it will tell you 80% of what, maybe 85% of what you need to know about all things Titan related, but it's long. It's almost 2 hours long. I wish we managed to make a shorter version of that, because I think we could condense it like 30 minutes or so. But we never did. So if you have the patience to kind of watch through it, which is a big commitment, I get it. But if you have the patience to watch through it, there's just a lot of information right there. Two Titans. But again, those three are probably the top three. Alex is saying, worth mentioning might also be for people truly new to a game, which might take a look to the X community as a whole. Yep, I agree. What would you recommend to shut down as not needed in battle to lower heat signature? The FSD, you don't need an FSD while fighting. The cargo hatch, you don't need a cargo hatch while fighting. Those are the two things that are basically a no compromise. You can shut it down. The additional thing, which is more of a compromise because it takes time to bring it back online if you turn it off, but which usually has a significant power grid requirement, is the AFMUV, basically your module repair utility. That one usually has a significant power requirement, so also a heat generation that's not irrelevant. But bringing it back online actually does take some time, so it's annoying. So again, depending on the setting, if you can avoid having to turn it off, you should avoid that. But if necessary, then you should do what you need to do and turn it off. And Duncan Phantom, thank you for your support. Welcome to the exclusive and amazing Glory to Mankind tier of channel membership, which gets you privileges so exclusive as a green name and a Commander Mechan icon next to your name when you chat. But other than that, it is my desire to kind of make support completely voluntary and just something that you do because you want to do, and supporting a small-time creator like myself, which only creates content for Elite Dangerous, by the way. But again, I will not gate content behind memberships, and I will not give members exclusive access. I don't like that style of content creation. I do this as a hobby and as a passion, and if someone wants to buy me a coffee and support me in doing it, fantastic. And I will reinvest every single dollar that comes through YouTube into the game, be it in supporting Frontier developments or in supporting others that have need to support, like one commander did this week, because of personal situations of his. So yeah, thank you for your support. Which of the crate builds would you recommend as a good starter point for those new to AX, but not necessarily new to Elite? Well, I guess it depends what degree of engineering you have unlocked. I mean, if you have mod charts, the mod chart crate right now, when Cohere is not around, is a ship I'm using right now. It's just fantastic. This is the ship I'm using, and probably one of the ships I use most often. So if I was to recommend one, I would say get the mod shards, great. But you may not have mod shards depending where you are in progression in the game. So if you don't have mod shards, probably the Gauss version would be what I recommend. The Gauss version of a low engineering crate is a great initial ship to start if you want. How do you become a member? You click on the membership button somewhere. I can find a link for you for that one. Where is it? I'm in the wrong place. I'll get there in a second. Memberships. There you go. I found the link. Yeah, shotguns, like flying, it's like a big flying shotgun. And that's the link for memberships. Yeah, shotguns are fun, especially the fast. Oh, thank you, Belisario. Much appreciated. The crate with mod shards is fun, especially with premium ammo. You can get Cyclops almost as effectively as a shard conda, so it's pretty fun and kind of remarkable. You're more concerned about the engineering, getting all the stuff. I feel like going in mostly on engineering is a huge nerf to myself. I know how to stop the process. Did you see the low engineering version of a crate Mark II that we have in the video that I posted above? I can repost it, but the low engineering crate is only built with starter engineers. So the ones that are available through common knowledge and that have very reasonable access requirements like the Dweller. And that one should be really designable in an afternoon at most, if not, let's say a couple hours if you can have access to those already. So this is the common core including low engineering. There you go. I just posted you the video guide you were just asking about, and Alex posted you the link to a wiki as well, so that's great. I'm glad you like it, Dexys Phantom. It's a passion of mine, as you can tell. You were watching when I did a 25 million Titan bombing run while not using targeting. Have you made a short of that? That was, I thought I did a 28 million too. I think I did a 100% core run. 25 million would be good, but not great. No, I have not made a short of that. Should I make a short of that? Would be interested in seeing, because I mean, you need to know what you're looking at. Because, like, again, the short of, like, destroying the 4 interceptors while getting into the high predicted, like, everybody kind of gets what that is. But looking at 28 million, 100% core run without targeting, you kind of need to know what you're looking at to understand, to appreciate what's going on. So I don't know how good of a short it would make. I tried experimenting with shorts a little bit, but it's also like kind of things like, I mean, I have a couple of shorts that have become popular because again, they're more meme content. But as you can tell, I think from the tone of this and general my content, I'm not very much a meme creator, right? I prefer kind of like more sort of like factual content that's informative in nature and helps people actually understand how things work rather than ha ha ha, you know, Fargo go boom, you know, which our creators are better and funnier than me. So I'll leave that to them, and I think they'll do a better job at it. I do have some of those, which somehow came out okay, but it's really not who I am, and not necessarily something that I feel would be very good at. Been testing the Ark's perishable crate, and with shield it's not so bad. Well, here's the thing, Atlas Rand. It's not so bad until you go to Titan space and you realize that that thing charging spikes you to 23% heat and suddenly everybody's shooting you and you're dead. That's the problem with shield. It's not, the problem is not in Titan Sol right now or in Anti Xeno Combat. So maybe the shield does fine there. The shield does not fine in Titan space, especially with a power plant that's not fully engineered. Like, that is going to get you killed. Mark my words. And yes, Dakistanton modified Guardian Shard Cannon is what I'm using right now. Oh, it was the perfect run one. Yeah, then it was 28 million. 28 million is the 100% run. Well, the max length of the short, Alex, was just increased from 1 minute to 3 minutes. But again, like, audiences that watch shorts are different than audiences that watch long form content, and are looking for different things. And it's just a complete different type of content. If you want to do it, you got to do it in a completely different manner. And it's just not something I'm as passionate about in terms of content creation. I like my long form content. I like my live streams. Like shorts, I'll do the occasional short. Maybe I'll play with it if I think I have something that could be of interest to like a shorts crowd and audience. But I generally don't, or feel I don't. But maybe like you guys should tell me. Like sometimes I might have something worth clipping that is worth a short. But yeah, I mean, you can go up to 3 minutes right now, but I honestly would never make a 3 minute short. Like, shorts gotta be a minute. Otherwise, they're not shorts. Otherwise, they're just something weird that YouTube is experimenting with. But you could go to a minute and a half, maybe. But the attention span of people watching shorts is just not there. You can't go further than that. Credits, engineering, not a limiting factor. Is there a reason you'd want to take a Chief or a Crate Mark II? I'm trying to build up my first Gen X ship and I can invest in it. Crate seems undisputed. You should watch both my Chieftain video and Crate videos where I review both for AX Combat this year. And I talk about them. There's a lot of comparisons over too. If you are doing solo combat and you're possibly not the most experienced person with AX Combat, the Chieftain to this day remains the best ship for dual type 1 versus 1 interceptor combat. It's just more agile in the crate, it's easier to fly, a lot more forgiving. It can yaw, unlike the crate. It doesn't require you to boost orbit in interceptor 1-on-1 combat. There's so much going for the Chief in 1-on-1 combat that to this day, if what you want to do in the game is dual interceptors 1-on-1, the Chieftain is your best ship. Similarly, if all you want to do is just bomb the Titan and nothing else, the Titan Mark II is the best Titan bomber in the game. However, if you want a ship that happens to be the best at Anti Xeno Combat zones and a very capable 1-on-1 dual combat fighter and a very good Titan bomber in its own right and can do a bunch of other things on top, well, that's a Crate Mark II. That's why it's undisputed, because it's just the most versatile. It's not because, I mean, it's probably the best platform for mod shards in Anti Xeno Combat Zone. That is the best at that. But that is just one activity in the game right now. So it's not undisputed at everything. It is undisputed. In fact, it is actually surpassed as a bomber by the Titan Mark II. And it is surpassed, at least in most scenarios, as a solo fighter by the Chieftain still. And some would argue even by the Mandalay nowadays. But again, no ship can do all of those things like the Crate Mark II can do. That's the one thing that truly sets it apart. A perfect 8-vent core is 115 to 130, kinda. Kinda something like that. Yeah, but even then, the problem with that, first and foremost, it's a vertical format. So unless I put the video of the bombing sideways, I would need to show just the vertical part, and you wouldn't see very much in a vertical setting. Maybe if I fly kind of, I'm trying to think sideways, but I don't know. Again, there's so many limitations with like the shorts format that I don't know. Think about it. Oh, the shield off of it, Atlas Run. Oh yeah, completely agree. Yeah, totally. I missed the part. Yeah, that is the way to go. Like the purchasable crate with a shield out. Take the shield off and change the engineering of the beam from efficient to long range, and that ship is totally fine. It's totally fine. It's great, Dankus Phantom. You're welcome, Kazanka. One-on-one interceptor skills. I mean, again, there's many disciplines to Anti Xeno Combat. Even just in solo one-on-one interceptor combat, like the Anti Xeno Initiative has created a number of challenge ranks to work on many different aspects of your flight technical skills, which, if you ask people in the community, those ranks are actually worth more than the in-game ranks. Because, like, nobody really cares if you have, like, elite in combat or elite in trading or elite in exploration. All that proves is that you've done something over and over and over again. Like, you've killed the same Fargoid scout 22,000 times. What have you learned in the process? Nothing, really. Just to pull the trigger again and again and again. So there's not a lot of sort of achievement or status associated with that. Whereas the ranks of the Anti Xeno Initiative, there's progression ranks that shows that you're able to take down a Cyclops solo, and eventually you graduated to fight a Basilisk and survive, and then you manage to finally take a Dusa, and some folks will eventually go crazy and decide to take on a Hydra. And through all of that, there's quite a bit of learning. And it doesn't stop there. Like, beyond that, there's challenge ranks that say, okay, now I actually want to learn defensive flying. So I want to do the so-called 100% challenge rank, which means I'm going to take down a Basilisk without taking any damage whatsoever. And that's going to teach you defensive flying. There's another rank called Astraeus Clarity, which means I'm going to take down a Medusa using 175 rounds of Gauss or less. That's going to teach you to use fine aim control and to actually make your shots count. There's another one that's called Myrmidon that sets a time limit that we changed, by the way, a bunch of times. I think it's something like 14 minutes or 12 minutes for a medium right now. Someone in the chat will tell me what it is. But that one teaches you to manage the clock and actually fly aggressively. So each of those challenge ranks teaches you a skill related to combat that allows you to become a better pilot and to be better at the game, effectively. Collect them all, collect all the challenge ranks, and you get the meta rank called Decent Pilot, which is sort of a top rank of the Anti Xeno Initiative that shows that you've proven mastery in each of those disciplines. So you can manage the clock fly aggressively, you can make your shots count, you can fly defensively, you can manage flying in a wing with small ships, that's the swarm. You can fly without engineering. One of the ranks is to kill a Medusa with no engineering. You can do it without relying on your HUD. Another one of those challenge ranks is to actually kill a Medusa with your HUD turned off. All of those are skills that you kind of build as you improve on your AX career, which is something that people admire in our community because, like, it shows that you've grown as a pilot rather than just repetitively doing the same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, I mean, like, doing a tank build and just ramming Cyclops and Basilisk to down their shields, like, by the way, ramming shields is a viable tactic in AX, especially in speedrunning, especially in Myrmidon as a challenge rank. Actually ramming the Goi to ram their shields down, absolutely viable tactic. I actually used to do it quite a bit in a DBX when I was doing some of these runs in a small ship. Very unconventional build, but maybe a story for another day since we're talking about beginner stuff, and we're beginning to start about more advanced stuff at this point in time. So let's stick to more basic stuff for now. Is it viable to take a fully engineered large PVA combat ship, cutter or vet, and modify it for AX? Sort of is the answer to that one, Mitch. Large ships are difficult to use in AX combat. Counterintuitively, it takes a lot more skill and experience to fly a large ship in AX combat than it takes to fly a medium ship. That goes back to the point we were making earlier that AX is really about avoiding damage rather than tanking damage. And large ships are better at tanking damage, but they're not really as good at avoiding damage. And as a result, they generally have a much harder time in AX. So there's several people who are absolutely sworn to the Corvette, and a handful who actually enjoy flying the cutter in AX. And so there are some people that kind of design their entire career by just flying on AX Corvette, and that has worked for them, and they've been loving it and enjoying it. But they've known from the start that it was hard mode, and they chose to do their AX career in hard mode because they loved that ship and wanted to do it that way. But in terms of advice, I mean, if you're asking for advice, I would say you're better off and you're going to have an easier and honestly probably more fun time trying out with a medium, and eventually, once you've mastered a medium, trying your hand at large ship combat, rather than try with large ship combat, which can get frustrating very easy. And the rebuys tend to stack up. The rebuy of a fully stacked cutter can bite. The rebuy of a chieftain is irrelevant in the grand scheme of AX things. No, you're welcome, Mitch. Glad it's helpful. Like, hope you have fun. Like, it's a great part of the game. 07 Just Spears, welcome. Are there any viable small ship AX builds? Plenty, I will say. In fact, we have a whole video. You guessed it. We got a video for everything. Fun small AX ships, which is kind of from a while ago, so it's not the most recent thing, but it does talk about every single one of the small ships in the game. And fun small AX ships.
Frameship charge detected.
And you should check it out. There's a lot of information about small ship AX built in there. The Vulture is one of the most fun ones, yeah, for sure. And it's a very capable ship. Even though it only has 2 hard points, it flies amazing and it does pretty well. Yeah, the perks. I don't think you mean the subscribe button. I think you mean the membership button. I just ran, but yeah, you should click both subscribe and memberships if you so fancy. I know a Cobra Mark V is coming. Cobra Mark V is probably going to be. I mean, it's very likely to be the best AX small ship that we're gonna get. He has what, 3 medium slots and 2 small ones? Is that right? And a class 4 power distributor, which is tiny still compared to most mediums, but it's just, you know, short of a Vulture as far as the distributor is concerned, which is class 5. I think the Cobra Mark V will be a very capable small ship. Again, it's a small ship, so it will fall back behind most mediums significantly, because like a class 4 power distributor compared to a class 7 power distributor, I don't know if I can show you like just a see an outfitting and showing here like just the raw difference between a class 4 and a class 7, even before engineering. Like a class 7 power distributor, look at this, has a weapon capacity of 61 megawatt and a weapon recharge of 6.1. 6.1. Remember this number, 6.1. Now let's go down 4A. Do we have a 4A here? Sadly, we don't have a 4A, so I can't show you a 4A, but I can show you a 3B, and it's less than half, right? So, and ultimately for these very distro-hungry weapons, like modified plasma chargers, like Gauss, shards to a lesser degree, but still, the sustained DPS that a ship can put out is effectively this number. Your weapon recharge is the sustained DPS that a ship can put out. Period. Weapons matter to a degree, but at the end of the day, most everything will be anchored by a weapon recharge number. So a large power distributor is a humongous advantage, and another reason why the crate is candidly so good as an AX ship, because it's one of the few ships that has a class 7 power distributor. Like the other one is the Phantom, which lacks in hard points. The gunship, which is slow as a brick. And does anything else have a class 7 power distributor in terms of medium ships? Oh, yeah, the Python Mark 1, which is, for all intents and purposes, a worse Crate Mark 2. Hey, this seems odd. I can put 5 experimental on a pre-built Python without the extra module. Okay, now that's really odd. I agree, Atlas Fan. And Free Cruise, wow, they have small ship too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, you should do that. Hey, Barefoot, 07. Barefoot is a co-creator of mine of the Glory to Mankind music album, which I actually play some of it for you because like there's a lot of new people here, so I don't think you've heard it before. But like we made a whole AX themed album that is on Spotify, which is what was playing in the trailer, and I'll play some of it now for you guys. Like, let's see, start with Turning a Tide. You guys tell me what you think. I think it'll make a pretty fine music for like Titan Bombing. Like, oh, we should make a kind of like exclamation mark album thingy. Actually, I start with Turning. Actually, I start with Welcome to AX is the most popular title. It's actually great for it, like newcomers like you. This is a song for you guys. Put it a little louder. You don't hear it. All right, so I'm just kind of like singing, listening to myself. Okay, well, let's fix that. But we should easily fix. Where is it? Spotify. Why is Spotify not playing? One sec. All right. This should do a trick. All right, let's restart it. There we go.
Abandoned, scattered in space. Scanners packed up, ready for the chase. To the front lines, Commander, there's no retreat. The last Lavian brandy taste bittersweet. lessons are learned.
Gauss is equipped. Your stripes are earned.
Your ship gleams bright, plasma and steel.
Asterope glows, and the power feels real. Asterope is where most of you will go to kind of actually start your AX careers.
Orbiting cold, hidden from sight. Weapons staggered, ready to ignite. Threat level 6, posse close at last. Locking it down, your heart beating fast. Failure can teach more than you know. It sharpens the edge where victories grow. Skill issues arise, we all feel the sting. But on the brink, we learn to spread our wings. Now Hydras fall with grace and
Grace and speed combats the breeze. We make them bleed in the victor's hall. They sing your name, another titan falls. More closer playing.
Skill issue never ends, the climb never fades. You'll chase the stars through 100 hardcore grades. You can't touch the sky without touching the ground, so embrace each fall and rise to be crowned. Reach more than you know. It tempers the fire, helps you to grow.
Glad you like it, JL. Barefoot and I worked on this one. Like, him showing up was like what suggested me putting it on.
You're on the brink, that's where you soar.
Alright, let's go back to our chat. Again, if you like the album, it's on Spotify, and it'll make for, I think, a good background music for the Battle of Saul campaign. And with Barefoot, we talked about doing a follow-up sequel album in 2025. So, in fact, I think that Battle of Saul will make for some good content for one of the songs of a follow-up album in 25. JL, I just typed the link. I'll type it again. Like, this is the Spotify link. Or if you want to type it in, so search for Glory to Mankind and Mechan, and it should send you to the album. Or Glory to Mechan, Commander Mechan. Glory to Mechan. Not Glory to Mechan. Glory to Mankind. Glory to Mechan would be a bit presumptuous. Atlas, right? You sent me images in Discord. Oh no, I believe you. I believe you that you can't like put things in and out. Like, it's just yeah, no, it's very odd. I think part of it has to do with the fact that 3 of the ones that you sent me the image of are the pre-purchased weapons. My hunch is if you take those out, you're not going to be able to put 5 in, but those 3 that are in already somehow don't count towards the experimental limit, is my hunch. But I may be wrong. Again, for those who joined recently, we're here to talk about anything and all that's on your mind regarding beginner AX combat. Like, I'm here to help anyone who just recently joined the game or came back after a hiatus of even years or otherwise is taking their first baby steps into Anti Xeno Combat. Answer any questions that they have in their mind or anything that they're interested in learning more about or curious about or anything that's really on your mind. This is like time for you to ask questions that are even the most basic, simple. There's no silly question. There's no, like, you know, nothing you cannot really talk about here. That's a good group here, by the way. Let's see if Hibiki has a good instance. If so, we might join the... You beat them with a Type 10 before, can't beat them with anything else. Now, the interesting thing is, Type 10 is not all that easy to use in Anti Xeno Combat. Again, it's tanky, but it's kind of slow and it takes a beating from those things. So, if you've been flying a Type 10, I think you'll find that the meteor ships actually do make your life incredibly easier. I got a team invite from Commander Hibiki, and they're fighting at Rhea, so you guys feeling like seeing some of this in action? Alright, let's go. Let's go dance. Would you give your opinion on a Crate Mark II with 4 modified plasma charges? Okay, yes, I can definitely give an opinion on that. The quick opinion on that is 4 modified plasma charges on a Crate Mark II are too many. The Crate Mark II can barely feed 3, and even then it massively overdraws, and generally does better with 2, but can do okay with 3 NPCs. 4 is absolutely overkill. You are murdering your power distributor if you're using 4 modified plasma charges, and you're effectively wasting one of the hard points because you're not getting more DPS, you're getting slightly higher alpha strike damage, but not in a way that changes anything in a meaningful manner. So not worth it, man. Not worth it to go 4 NPCs. Yeah, like the way to go is 3 NPCs at most on the Crate Mark II. And even then, honestly, yeah, some people swear by it. So where am I going? Where is everybody? Right behind me? Is that it? Like, I'm trying to think about. Select, cancel. Why are they not showing up in my super wheels? Are they covered by like some what thing? Where is Rhea, by the way? It's like one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn? I always mix them up. Not galaxy map. System map, please. Rhea. Here we go. Alright, let's boost and skedaddle. Off we go. That group is about to die, by the way. One person just exploded. The other 2 are about to explode. Let's see if we can get there before they explode. Yeah, 3 is the way to go. I have like 5 shard weapons, just the regular ones though. So regular shards really are not that great of a weapon, to be honest. Unless you're using it in the bomber configuration with anti-guardians on resistance, then they're great bombering weapons, but that's just about it. The Vulture with Gauss cannons, but it gets too hot. Is it because you fire them at the same time? Have you tried staggering them? Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 as you're normally shooting Gauss? If you stagger them, they shouldn't get too hot, especially if you use heat sinks. Crown, you're asking if Guardian Gauss is still good, being farming them for a Cold Orbiter Crate Mark II build? Yes, they're still very good weapons. They're still very, very good weapons. And if you engineer them for anti-Guardians on resistance, you can also use them in Titan space, which is nice. We got 2 down. Hibiki, please stay alive. I'm trying to come to you. Alright, here we are. We got an interceptor, 2 interceptors. Just quickly looking, I think it's 2 basilisks. There's at least a 3rd one, which is the disco ball that people are shooting at right there. So let's head to the disco ball. This is Fargoid combat. Like a group that actually is focusing fire on a given interceptor at any given point in time. This is what you generally see when you get into a good instance. Now that shield is up, you can see by the blue things in the bottom left of my HUD that showed my beam is hitting a shield. That's a Medusa, by the way, which is nice. We like Medusas. They're my favorite interceptors to fight. Present a nice challenge, but they're not bullet sponges like Hydras that take forever to fight. Not how I stagger my shards, by the way. I'm firing 2 at a time. Got it. I also empty my clip, so it's gonna be full when I need it again. Hear the sound of mod shards firing on shields. Look, there's anacondas here, and there's like all kind of ships around here, really. There's a basilisk next to it. Shield is down, so now we're gonna hit it again. Note how I am boost orbiting to stand to stay on target here. Wow, that was heart went down pretty fast. Note someone is using plasma chargers, white plasma chargers, by the way. I personally not a big fan of bringing plasma chargers to Anti Xeno Combat zones, by the way, because they make visibility very poor for everybody else who's trying to hit the hearts. So, I get it, people love them, some people love them, some they use them, but I try not to use them for that reason when I'm in a group. We'll use them solo though. Heart is down. Alright. Trying to get away from those Fargo missiles that are hitting me, but not being very successful at getting away from them. Yeah, I managed to get away at least from some. Somebody agitated that swarm, which means it's now shooting missiles. Agitating the swarm happens when you fly through it. At that point you want to reset it as you fly through it again. That heart kind of blown up again. How many hearts are left? One heart? Someone's gonna battering down, try and get that final heart and kill it, which is a good idea, by the way. Hopefully not too fast, otherwise it'll panic shield. Alright, we got it. We're gonna kill it now. It's gonna die. It is dead, Jim. That Medusa is exploding. Boom. 40 million in the bank. Not bad for 2 minutes work. Yeah, we call it disco ball. That's exactly what we call it. All the thermal and beams on it that kind of batter the shield down, while keeping everybody cold. Quad engineered guardian plasmas on a Python by 2 grade for PvE. Oh yeah, I mean, like modified plasma chargers are actually pretty decent in PvE as well. They're probably the only guardian weapon that is. Is that a basilisk? That basilisk is not going to survive very long. Try not to hit that cutter in between me and the basilisk. Now we can give this if we have enough firepower that we're able to kind of destroy without destroying the individual hearts now, which we probably should try to do. Alright, let's try to do it. Let's hit it. Everybody's trying to give it at this point. Is it dead? I don't think it's dead. It's re-shielding. That took a lot of punishment and survived. That gives you an idea of how tanky Basilisk are. I got that shield down. Oof. Caustic. Get rid of a caustic sink to kind of batter it down. Oh, first thing is gonna die now. It's gonna definitely die. Everybody's concentrating fire on it. We're gonna give it, but we just succeeded in panic shielding it. So I'm trying to cool off right now. It's like running way too hot. Oof! Somebody covered me. I didn't cover myself in time. That's why you run shotgun. If you neutralize, you help each other. All right, now we really want to kill it, but it's re-shielding again, so I'm not gonna waste ammo on that. Shot launchers are fun. The modified version are really good, but they're really expensive in terms of materials. Like, Guardian Gas is much better if you can't access the modified versions. Oh wow, that's a rubber band for you. Alright, let's go and finish this hard off and then kill the other. Come on, go down. Die, 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 die. Dead. Alright. Basilisk down. 24 million in the bank. Boom. You know what, I'm flying pretty aggressively now, which is I'm not paying attention to like my well-being, so I should probably take a quick break and repair. Now we split focus, which is not good. Someone's taking the Medusa and somebody else is taking. Is that a Basilisk up there? Hard to say. Shouldn't be doing this. That Medusa was almost dead though, so it was a Klops and it was not Medusa. That's why. That's why I took it. I see now. Oh, that makes sense. That was a quick kill. And now we're again focusing on a Medusa, which is a lot less of a quick kill. Hey Rai, welcome to the stream. Stuck out of town till tomorrow. Can't wait to get in the fight and help you all soon. Well, we can't wait to have you. Great that you're coming back soon. I need to repair things though. I count 3 swarms in the instance, which probably means there's 3 interceptors around here. The problem with this build is that it's a power constraint, so like this should use a monstered plant. In the common core it uses a monstered plant, which allows you to keep the FMU on, so repair without having to store hard points. But I don't know why, but I don't think I had a monstered power plant. But that's why I have to turn my hard points, retract my hard points to be able to fire on this thing. Not to fire this thing, to repair models. I think we kind of repaired enough. Alright, let's get our repair limpet in. Alright, let's go hit it now. Stop repairing this so it comes back online, and let's go blast it. Oops, wrong button. Wrong fire group, I mean. That Medusa's going out fast. Note there's a lot of large ships in the instance. There's 2 cutters there. 3 cutters actually, I can't. That's the kind of thing you normally don't see in like some of the more traditional instances. Like you won't see large ships, you won't see all crates or all chieftains or a combination. Let's shoot this down again. Alright, let's go contribute meaningfully. I see the heart. Heart is broken. I got a good hit on that. See, it's better to make your shots count than just firing randomly. It's like few well-placed shots are gonna break our heart. Like 20 just random shots flailing at it is not gonna do that. Lots of colors indeed. Alright, surging. 2, 1, now. Clear. That thing is gonna die very soon. Alright, we have a good shot. Oof, no, we don't have a good shot. See, no, I didn't fire, but this thing is about to die, so we're gonna finish it off now. And it's dead. It's dead, Jim. Target destroyed. 2 Medusas and a Klops down. The fun thing about this instance is they just keep coming, so there's no shortage of Goyt, they just keep on coming. That's a Klops, I think. Gonna get its attention. Hello. Drag the Klops along with us, and then we're gonna finish it off. Ooh, almost hit someone by mistake. Is that hard out? Yeah, it's out down there. I see it now. Alright, let's kill it. See if we can finish it off. people didn't fire on it, so we didn't. Heart is down, but it panic shielded. When you take down the shield too quickly, it triggers what we call a panic shield, which doesn't happen instead if you just wait a little longer. Ooh, I got a good shot at that heart. Did it break? It broke. Now you gotta coordinate typically in voice if you want to give it, because you gotta tell people where you're gonna blast it. Where do you see the Thargoid war going after Saul? Well, there's a few theories. Like, one theory is that more Titans are gonna come, possibly focusing on the Pleiades and the Nebulas. Another theory is that we're gonna take the war to them, and Cold 70, the whole range of systems where the Thargoids are believed to reside, is gonna open up. That's another theory. Like, so somebody might say Colonia, like Adros Ran just said. Oh, I don't think Colonia is definitely on the hot list of like targets. I may be wrong. The reality is nobody really knows. Like, what I think most people believe is that we have not seen the end of the Titans, but where or why, it's incredibly hard to kind of guess. Cyclops is gonna survive very, very little time. There you go. Dead. How do you get in the action? You join one of these instances, like in the Anti Xeno private group. Like, you're welcome to join this one, by the way, if you're around. We're very happy to pull other people in. Goy ground invasion, that could be another thing. Like, I don't necessarily see it happening soon, but you never know. It could happen. How we killed them all? I think we killed them all. Look at how many people we got here. It's a nice group, huh? Someone's shooting something, but I can't tell. Oh, that's a Majestic interdictor. That's the capital ship I was telling you about. Let's head back to Interceptor. Let's head close to the Majestic interdictor. That thing is shooting something. That means there's a hostile of some kind. Might be a scout. What was that? See, I'm pointing at it right now. It might have been an interceptor. No, it's too small. It was a scout, I think, or something. It shot something. How do we get into a private group? So let me show you. Go into social. Search for Commander Anti-Xeno Space Initiative. This will show this account. You click on it and it will show request to access private group. It doesn't show me because I'm already in. You click on that button and it automatically accepts you. After that, you basically start the game, go into private group mode, and you should be able to select the Anti Xeno Initiative private group. That applies to you, Mr. High School Locksmith. Well, once you're in that instance, you should request for an anchor to anyone in the wing. I can drop my wing once you guys get around here, around the Rhea system. Look at how beautiful that ship is, by the way. Next to the moon of Saturn. And typically when things spawn, they spawn 4 at a time here, so it's gonna get intense. That's a good time to repair, by the way. So we'll repair. Look at this group, so cool. Look at those guns on the Majestic, by the way. There they are. 3 incoming. And the Majestic fire now. This is such a cool experience. You're welcome, Mr. High School Locksmith. Yeah, I agree with you, Mitch. It would be a shame to just, you know, make it a once and done kind of thing. Has anyone given thought to the idea the invasion in the Sol system leads to the colonization game mechanic, diaspora in a narrative perspective? Actually, it's a good thought. I haven't given that idea to that. Yeah, but it makes, you know, it narratively could make a ton of sense. I agree with you. Alright, we're clear from this guy's getting shredded already, huh? What are we shooting? Shooting that one. I think 2 Basilics and a Medusa, I think. Is that a Medusa? No, it's a Basilic. It's a Basilic that's not gonna live very long. Hard down, kill it. Anchor King is gonna die. Oh, I'm out of heat sinks. Let me synthesize some heat sinks. Shield's coming back online. We have more than enough firepower to get Basilisks, but again, it's hard to do if you're not in a voice channel coordinating. Kill Hydra. There's no Hydras here, otherwise we would kill Hydras. We'll kill Basilisks, if that's okay. And Medusas. The good thing about the Majestic is it actually helps batter their shields down when they're in range. Heart is exerted. I can't see anything, but the heart is exerted. It panic shielded though, because like that's the thing, when you can't see and people are just shooting the hull. Ooh, ouch. Or bonking you out of the way. It doesn't go that fast. It goes faster when you have a smaller group but a more focused group that's actually fighting in a more organized way, which is what the Xenostrike Force is all about. Clear. Alright, let's finish this thing off. Shield this down. Alright, it's dead. It's dead, Jim. Alright, switch targets. Where's the next one? Next one is right here. There's 3 more. 4 jumped in at the same time. Alright, let's do some damage. Exert it. It's very hard to hit from behind, but it's possible. Unorganized flight, Alex. That's what the Xenostrike Force is all about. Oh, someone's zapping. Good, good. Let's kill this thing. Kill it. Everybody, shoot it. Energy surge. But my neutralizer is malfunctioning, so. Caustic missiles or missiles in general incoming. Cargo missiles incoming. My synthesis is complete. Got my heat sinks back. Life is good again. Why ain't we at HIP 2567X map says Titan there? Or am I out of a loop? Plux, the Titan is moving and it's coming towards Sol. Sol is in alert. This is why we're all fighting here. Can't see a thing. It's dead. You can see it's dead. Boom. Alright, next one. Lots of Bazzy today. It's Bazzy Day. It's Bazzy Day. Alright, let's put some more music in the background since we're fighting now. You guys tell me how the volume is doing. I should adjust it. Dead. We got him. Guns at the ready, we answering the call. So it's multiple Titans on the Galaxy map. They're mostly dead though, that's the thing. I think you might be looking at the corpse of a Titan, at the Titan graveyard. Glory to mankind. Caustic sandwich. Glory to mankind. What would be the best way to contribute to a Fargoid alert? It's during one of these instances, Corpiter. Like, come and fight alongside the capital ships in an instance where pretty much everyone's fighting. That is the best, also most fun way. They never learn. Boom. Broken. Woo! And rammed. They are coming for you. Oh, it skipped the shield phase. Cool. Let's go hit it then. Again. Exert it. Oh, I have a good shot. 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 Someone got a scan, which is nice. Which means I can finally see. Well, never mind. I destroyed the heart already. Now I could probably give it, but again, it requires voice coordination to do it. Yeah, rescuing people, like another activity right now is evacuation of the station that are on Sol. That's another very helpful activity to contribute. That heart is exerted, and I want to get into a range and angle to shoot it as soon as the shield. There we go. Perfect range. I'm good. I'm good. Hitting. Heart is almost dead. Heart is dead. There are some really good commanders in this. By the way, Hibiki 54 is excellent commander, among others. Surging. 2, 1. Now. There. This guy's almost dead. Alright, it's dead. Woof. That hurt. Right, and with that, we're getting another 40 million in the bank. And 3 more interceptors coming along. That the Majestic is firing on. Look at them. This is really cool. Got a great screenshot. Woo! What are we shooting? Oh, family. We meet their blockade. Is that a Medusa? Clubs. Lots of clubs. Not even Cyclops. Cyclops not gonna live very long. As in, Cyclops is not gonna live, period. But they can actually survive. Miracle. No, now we're around here. They will not survive. I'm panic shooting too fast. Oh, it's dead. It's dead, Jim. But another Cyclops. That's also gonna die really fast. Alright, here we go. In range. Engaging. Hard down and cops down. I hope they got it. I was reloading. No, we didn't get it. Alright, try again. But now we're gonna get it. As soon as I shoot this down, this thing's dead. Which is now. Engaging. Boom, boom, boom. And down it goes. Next one. This is hardware combat, folks. It's dead. Dead, Jim. 3 more interceptors down. Pizza day. Credit, bonds, and blood were paid. You have to be in a wing, then kiss Phantom. I can drop wing and pull other people, and let me drop wing. Send me a friend request, and if you are in the same power group, I should be able to see you and pull you in. Look at the amount of caustic in this instance. Look at that. Like, this is another great screenshot. Look at that caustic in that instance. Remember us here. Let's repair where we're at. Lots of democracy, yes. Now you shall see how we give chase. Pump that boost, come join this crowd. Wow, last mission completed. That's why you stack them. It's like, they complete fast over here. Is that a Mandalay? Yeah, we got a Mandalay in here. Hey, Mandy. That's not a Mandalay anymore. Did it transform into a Crimmer too? Mini Cooper Zookeeper. Alright, someone's jumping in. You can see them firing. No. Someone, I have no idea. What is it firing at? Mysteries. Oh, Frameshift anomaly, so it is firing at something. I knew I wasn't dreaming it. Oh, that's shooting at silly scouts. These guys are gonna have a hard time. Boom. Alright, see the request. See a blue one. Yokai got you. And Mr. High School Locksmith, can you send me a friend request and then I will pull you in. Otherwise I can't see you and can't pull you in. Moves no time, no sleep. Miyoka, I see you, and I got you. And Mark Serapan. I presume that's you, Mr. High School Locksmith. So. Wing up and strike. That's a motto of Xeno Strike Force. Wing up and strike. There you are. Shall carry the day. Second chances, no backward glance. Got ganked. Yes, if you play in open, it's gonna be rough. I'm not sure who Reckoning is, but someone here on the stream. Alright. Sings the light. We kill things too fast. We're like, we're gonna take a break. Alright. Here more coming. Engaging. Let's go. Hit. We are almost fully repaired. Look at this. Look at this. Blast him, blast him, blast him. Blast him, blast him, blast him. Got him. First one down. Clear. Blast the other one. 2 down. Let's see how quickly we can kill 3 interceptors. Where's the third one? Where's the third one? Where's the third one? I don't see it. Is it dead already? That's it? Where is the third one? Was it just 2? Oh man, that was quick. That was quick. Some flying black cannons out there. Probably by mistake. Vortex Heroes is in the man away. It's okay, don't worry. We're good. Yeah, I should try Mr. Gamma. There's lots of caustic here. It's like mega caustic soup. Just gonna stay away. They spawn fast, but not fast enough when it stops. So they die too fast. I wish the second capital ship was here, because then you get double spawns. You get 6 at a time or 8 at a time. For a group this large, that's what we really need. Otherwise, again, we kill things too fast. Alright, we are all here. When it goes invasion state, so yeah, the thing is, if the Titan arrives on the 6th, it might not go to invasion. I know how they're gonna arrange things. It's like really curious to see. Well, we shall see. Need to empty my clips lower. And clips. Clips empty. The funny thing is, catching a few signals on the FSS, stay alert. How do you run the FSS in normal space? You can't run the FSS in normal space. You have to be in Super Cruise. So like something doesn't compute, Mr. NPC. Still caustic in the air. Try not to get in it. Alright. Free incoming! Majestic is firing on him. Alright. Let's get in range and then see if we can kill him. Alright. Depending on what spawns. That's a bad zero clubs, I had to say, but I'm shooting it. Did we kill it? Might have killed it. Not sure what we shot. Oof. Wow, that is a lot of interceptors. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, we kind of like, we asked for more, we got more, huh? Someone's shooting that one, so let's shoot this one. That's Medusa. Don't shoot the Medusa first. Get the cops out of the way. Our cops is down. That Medusa heart is out, but I don't want to. 2 Medusas. 3 Medusas. The hell is this? Oh gosh, we got a really cool instance now. Now we're dancing. Now we are dancing. Not sure what everybody's shooting. Like random people are shooting random things right now. We kind of got a little distracted and fragmented. Like, people are going for the best. Let's go for the best. Show me a heart. I'm also in caustic, so I kind of get out of caustic. Also lagging like crazy. Got it. Kind of malfunction. Instance upgraded for sure. Yeah. Yes. Dankest Phantom. Remind me your in-game name if you're not already in the wing. Commander Reckoning. Oh, I had invited you. I think I'm pretty sure I did, but if I'll invite you again. Alright, invited again. Alright. Starting to lag like crazy. Frozen in fear. Not exactly a beginner instance, but fun. It has been upgraded, as some folks just said. Zapping somebody. See if we can finish it off. Finish it off. Kill it. We got him. They got him. I was just flying by. But still, boom. Boom is good. Alright, thinning them out. Life is getting easier. Majestic is firing on one. Everybody else is firing on the other. But fine, fine. Vents open wide. Was forced outside. Heart is out. We turn the tide. Oh, good shot, good shot, good shot. If I boost, kill it. I think we can give a Medusa without proper coordination. Things are starting to malfunction badly in my place. My weapons are kind of a bit short, but it's okay. We're gonna do okay. We're gonna be okay. Cut the thrombus, guys. You got enough money? Well, you just wait until you spend half an hour here, then you'll see how much money you have then. Come on. Shield down. Where's your heart? Where's your heart? Ah, pop shield. Shield down again. This time you're gonna show me your heart. There it is. Boom. Boom again. And boom again. Down you go. Come on. You gotta be basically broken. There you go. Shoot this thing. Kill it. Kill it. Never mind. Don't kill it. Is that the last heart? I think so. Third, yep. 2, 1, pulse. And clear. But we won't go under. We're not outnumbered and not outgunned for this one. They are outnumbered and outgunned. Badly outnumbered and badly outgunned. Alright. One Medusa down. 2 Medusas to go here. Now I'm gonna get some pizza. Need some pizza. There's no turning back. Yeah, you don't lose combat bonds in death, that's true. Show me that heart again. Boom. Boom, number 2. Head back to the out one as well. I'm gonna split the group, fighting half and half, which is not great. Also don't know what stage of a fight they are at. Like, whichever one is more advanced, we should take down. You can see I won. This one has only lost 1 heart, but while I'm here, I also help with this second one. Something else is jumping in. 3 more jumping in. Alright. Upgraded the instance again. Good for pulse. 3, 2, 1. Now. Clear. Now we'll be stalled while it's neutralizing, but it's fine. Alright, let's focus on the outer Medusa. Like that one is the one that has most attention. Not how I periodically recharge my system capacitor because I need it for my neutralizer. And you really need it when you're ready for your neutralizer. Heart. There you are. Alright, exert, exert, exert. There's your heart. Boom, 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 boom. Great shots on that heart. Too far, closing range. Not too far anymore. Heart down, come on. Is that down? I think I got it. Yep. Someone. kindly got the scan. Glad you like it, Farken. It's actually on Spotify. I linked the Spotify link above. I'll post it again if you want. Find it here. Hold on. This is the album link on Spotify if you're interested. Music we made specifically for Elite Dangerous, AX Combat. Oh, somewhat special. Ooh, pulse. Clear. Ooh, late shutdown. Not clear. In 07 Parkan. Is that a Klops down there? Looks like it has Klops. Ooh, I want to take that Klops down. It's got like a white tail. That's odd. Took a bit of a beating there, huh? Who's it down? Take that Klops down. Oh, too fast of an angle. I'm not gonna be able to shoot it. But now he will. Kill it, shoot it, kill it. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Hearts down. Let's get the other Medusa that's like has 3 hearts down or something. It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely a blast. Glad you're having fun. I'm having fun. Yeah, burning off caustic is annoying. That's why most people get caustic sinks when they come to these combat zones. Somebody got killed, but it's okay. See that heart out. I got a hit there. There I got a hit. And a good one at that. Shards are lethal against hearts at short range. Absolutely lethal. Glad you like it, Farkin. Oof, that guy's getting rocked. See that heart. Nah, panic shield. See if I can get him. Oof, wonk. That was not intended, but not unlawful. Got it. Someone's jumping in. Surge in 2, 1, clear. Well, not clear. Also. And hopefully clear. Ooh, another one. Someone covered me. Thank you. I think those are basilisks coming in. I think we're gonna finish this Medusa off first. Woo! Alright, let's finish this. Show me your heart. There it is. Alright, kill it now. It's dead. It's dead. Boom. got here? Basilisks, Clops. No, it's all basilisks. Spazzy Day. Oof, the guy got wrecked. Ooh, 3 more coming in. The instant's got braided again. That's a Clops though, so that one's not gonna last very long. Unless we keep panic shielding it, then it's gonna last forever. Stop dragging it away from me. Alright, let's kill this thing. Is it dead? I think it's dead. It looks like it's exploding. Boom. Boom! Alright, now we're getting close to parity, like in terms of like forces on the field. And it's also getting a little nastier, so people are starting to die, which happens. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. When you have 4 Medusas on your tail, it can happen. Out of caustic, and I'm burning up, so I gotta fire my beam in like empty space and boost so I can get my heat up and burn it off, because I don't have simply like caustic sinks right now. If I can get it like 150, I should be able to burn it off quickly, and if it goes to 250, it burns off where I go. Alright, caustic sink, and we're good. So now we're starting to run low on ammo and on everything, and we could self-destruct and go back to a carrier, but let's go back like the more sort of proper way. So that would be, and let's head to Quick on Jow the proper way. Store hard points, flood assist on, set a course. Where is Quick on Jow? Quick on Jow, there you go, Quick on Jow. Let my team know I'm R&R. So, Barbers, I think I got your friend request, so the thing is, my wing is full, as you can see, and I'm just left the instance, so I think someone else should pull you in. I'm trying to think about who's there. Reckoning, are you still there, it seems? So I don't know if you can pull in Soul Brother B to join the instance, if you don't mind. Pretty fun to fight in a group, huh? In a good group. I'm gonna turn in the mission and drop the wing. If you haven't accepted my wing mission, accept it now, because I'm about to turn it in. See if I can reshare it. Arriving our destination. do some flight assist off docking, because it's more fun to dock and flight assist off. And I think actually somewhat easier. Ooh, that's my pad. Oh, why? But often I'm kind of approaching it, but I don't immediately. There we go. Let's turn the missions in. It's a lot of missions to turn in. 11. I'm already allied, so I'll take the credits. This, I'll take the reputation. Take the materials here. Oh, well, I have max reputation. I wasted 2 million, but it's okay. Divert scan data. Cool. Alright, I think we got them all. Probably got more missions tomorrow. Although if there's any particularly good ones, I might pick them up now. That's 2 or 4 Medusas. Let's look at the missions already. There's no Hydras around here, so missions will always be nice, but not these days. Probably really already go on. Let's take this one. Gotta mind weak exceptions. Ooh, this one I want. 18. Nice. Price components, Scouts and not fighting. Dodging lasers, scouts in hand. This is as I make my stand. But hey, no promises. It's all in the fight. I'll try my best to do my bit right. Maybe this time I won't make him face palm. No miss shots, stay cool and calm. Thargoid hearts are ours to claim. And that's it, folks. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully giving you a bit of an idea of like how to get into Battle of Sol with a bit of a live demo, like what there is to see and alerts in Sol right now, which is by the way a ton of fun, and that some of you are experiencing firsthand. To first timers on my stream, thank you for joining. To everyone coming back, thank you for coming back. As always, glory to mankind, now more than ever. Commander Mechan, over and out.